against a Troll. Like, the Monkey King can probably keep up better pace in that case, but the Troll Warlord can kind of take over if you give him that allowance. So Fnatic has to play fast, but at the same time, buy time for the Riki.
Yeah, it's Fnatic is really all in on this kind of mid-game orientated draft with these calls being picked up, right? Like you definitely can't afford to try and play a farming game up against Troll Ember. It's probably not going to work out very well. Fnatic, they're going to have to set a really nice pace, and that goes into the mid pick, right? Like, are you running this monkey mid, or do you pick something else mid here for Fnatic? Because you are still going to need some kind of tempo setter on the side of Fnatic to really just gel everything together with this draft, and I think the monkey could do that job, but you'd rather almost see somebody else coming in for that mid matchup and just to really set that tempo, just give the momentum to Fnatic to start snowballing out of control with these heroes and not giving RR that space that they will want for that Troll.
I'd say if they were looking for a bit more of a tempo mid, you'd maybe want a little bit more push in this lineup. Fnatic doesn't quite have the strongest push potential, so something like the DK could tie that draft up for Fnatic if they wanted to. It's also kind of flex, like you could give Ice that, but I don't reckon he's the kind of person to actually enjoy the DK. It's super static, and RR close out with the Omni. So we close out with what seems to be the KYXY hero on the off lane, and it kind of plays into this lineup. So you've got the sustain from the Phoenix and Omni. You've got the Troll who wants to stand in front and just not worry about dying. Omni Knight enables that. Yep. So it's also mitigating the control Fnatic has. So if you get that blessing on, you're going to be hard pressed to lock down that Ember Spirit now. You're not quite that high, but Fnatic response, they go with a Winter Wyvern. Like that's a
cool one.
That is. Oh no, it's a core snap. Yeah, all right. So it's Ice on the offlane snap, which we just called terrible.
Well, look, if one player can make these weird picks work, it's Ice, right? Like everyone knows Ice is the guy that's always going to ask for the weirdest possible offlane hero, and I don't know what he's going to do with it. I look forward to seeing what he has up his sleeve. If we could just go back to the Omni Knight though for a second, John, I thought. First of all, I was very surprised. Why the Omni, right? But then you look at, you mentioned it already, but during that battle trance, you tend to get locked down a lot as the Troll. Yeah. Heavenly Grace is going to be great. That constant dispel coming in, not allowing you to get stunned constantly. Obviously, the Omni is basically like as well, right? So you've basically got two, like, it's almost like an oracle. Right, so you haven't got False Promise, but you've got the ulti of the Omni to do essentially the same thing, but better. Not necessarily better, but you get my point. Especially considering Fnatic have so much physical damage with this Riki Monkey. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but I think with Fnatic running this Ice Snapfire as well, you never know. Like, RR looked pretty decent yesterday, especially in game 1. So I wouldn't really underestimate this Dire side.
Nah, I definitely wouldn't. I am just worried about the potential teamfights Fnatic has. Their control is so much better in teamfights. Like Reality Rift, they've got the Egg, they've got the Clock, and I guess the Ember Spirit with his chains, but none of those are reliable. Fnatic now, with the Winter's Curse, Jabs could start all of these fights for them. You drop the Curse, you drop the Shaker on, you get Ice Spitting Fire. And even Savage, if he joins in, can get a lot of damage out with his tricks. So there's a lot to be worried about when engaging early, and that's something RR has to respect. They need to keep track of Fnatic and their tempo, watch out for when the cooldowns are up, and kind of try to isolate them instead of forcing a direct 5-on-5.
No, I 100% agree with that. This will be game 1 of this best of 3 between Fnatic and RR, the only series we have on today, John, but you know, it's always a fun one when you've got someone like Ice in the game playing these kind of heroes in the off lane. I do wonder, like, what kind of build you go for. Like, is it something like a Guardian's Grieve Rush? Are we gonna see Like, what does he do here? Like, does he actually get the pipe into a Crimson, into a Guardians? Like, do you go that standard off-lane build? Do you go for DPS on this kind of hero? I just don't know what to expect.
I think with this kind of draft for Fnatic, and the beauty of it when you give Ice 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 something like the Snap, it doesn't take much. This will allow DJ to farm his Blink. And that's something Fnatic does every single time they give the Shaker to DJ. They know someone's going to have to get sacked. In this case, it's looking like it's going to be Ice. But with a hero like Snap, EXP is so much more important for the hero. You can still play aggressive. The itemization's not as potent, not as pertinent. So you can give DJ that space.
Yeah, look, I can't disagree with that. It should pay off for Fnatic, but only time will tell.
The battle begins.
So, bot lane, there might be a bit of a scuffle over that boundary rune. Savage going for it, but does not find it, and now take a bit of harassment before he does just blink strike out of there. Nothing too bad for him anyway. Like, Ricky kind of has this ridiculous passive regen. Like, he's currently sitting at 5.9 underneath the tower and has 4.9 HP regen when he's not underneath the tower. Like, that's kind of silly for an agi hero like Ricky.
Yeah, it does allow him a lot of leeway to just back off and build up. This lane is probably not going to be that easy, though. Like, they actually dragged Drew down for an aggressive off. So it's not the best for the Ricky. Like, there are ways to play it, but Drew can be super annoying with a whirling axis.
He definitely can. Intriguing as well that they actually do send the troll and clock down here, but you can kind of see what they're going for. Like, it's never really easy going up against the troll in lane anyway. I suppose with jabs there, it shouldn't be too hard on the Wyvern just to spam out Splinter Blast and just make it very hard for Drew. We'll see how Savage deals with it. Of course, we'll look at the other lanes as well. Mid lane, we'll have Moon up against Alacrity. And, this is not a very fun matchup for Alacrity on the Ember, I've got to say, John. We've seen this before.
No.
The Monkey does that, he gets the Jingu Mastery proc, and then he just dominates the lane over and over again.
Yeah, it's super easy for Moon to kind of get that done. Superior melee range, which always annoys me that I have to say it's melee, but superior melee range for the Monkey King. Really good sustain, and Ember Spirit just doesn't do anything. Like, you can't block damage from Flame Guard. You can't trade right clicks unless you want to die. I do like that Alacrity does go for an early Blightstone for the lane, so it just allows him to last hit a bit easier with his Sleight of Fist. That's one way to kind of mitigate the bleeding.
Yeah. It's rough though, I've got to say. Like, Alacrity is already so darn low. Like, yeah, he has a salve, but we're only 2 minutes into the game. You don't necessarily want to have to commit it like this. Like, bot lane, Drew is going to be the first blood. Savage, he will end up finding it. Jabs was there, and Savage with the tricks of the trade had enough damage to really just take him out. Alacrity, John, did he salved, but apparently he didn't. In fact, he runs back in after Moon, trying to just deny himself off. Oh, that is really upsetting here. Like, Alacrity, I know he had to do that to get the reset, but that is really going to screw with your lane quite a lot.
Yeah, it's gonna widen this lead that Moon has. The EXP split is kind of slow down because you did have DJ in range for a while. Not that it matters. Like, Moon is still having a great time. Still have a salve in his backpack as well. So even if Alacrity got some damage out, Moon can just pull back and salve up.
Yeah. We'll have a quick look at the top lane as well. KYXY there on the Omni Knight. He'll be up against Ice 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 on that Snapfire, of course, and both supports right now are still just roaming across the map. So Nuts really won't just leave DJ alone on the Earthshaker. Trying to shut this Earthshaker down as much as possible, because we know what happens when DJ gets enough space. He's going to be a nuisance. He's going to be a huge problem. But at least for now, he's just running, not really getting any kind of golden XP. Just trying to find an opening for his team.
Yeah, I like that he has a really early Tranks, though. That's super fast, even for a pause 4. So this just allows him to ignore all the damage, ignore the regen, just really do what he wants, and that could be an issue for RR if they don't keep track of DJ's positioning.
Always do have to, though, right? It's DJ. He always knows exactly where to be at the right time, and Alacrity this time around was ready for it. Didn't have any wards, but knew he was missing, just keeping tabs on him. It's not going to change the fact that he's not farming though. Like, even if DJ is not there, Moon is still destroying this lane consistently. And, well, speaking of, top lane, Ice, he's going to be in trouble. Yeah, that is a very slow TP because DJ also TP'd up. He does barely get away with his life intact. And now they will start the chase. DJ trying to get some revenge here onto Nuts. A nice Fisher into a cookie. And that'll be the scatter blast from Ice on 40 HP, finding a kill for himself. And he could theoretically just passive regen underneath his tier 1 tower if he really wants to.
I reckon he will. Like, there's really not much of a threat you get from an Omni Knight. It's a melee hero, not going to be able to close that gap, although Ice will just not waste time. He goes back to pick up his boots. Okay, so he's just going to regen up. Yeah, it's like, it's fine.
Bottom lane though, Jabs does end up going down, and now Savage, he's going to be in big trouble. He does get a blink off, but those fire spirits flying out. Savage dropping an item there, just trying to get maximum efficiency out of his stick. And I believe if he... Oh, Nuts?
Yeah,
Too many tier 1 tower hits. Ends up going down.
Yeah, it's a decent consolation prize for Fnatic. Like, you still have Savage around, although he's not going to be able to apply any pressure in lane. You're going to have to wait for Jabs to babysit him back, and he does come back in with the salve. So it's been a slower start for Savage. RR has kind of identified that win condition for Fnatic, but I don't think it's slowed down enough. He still has 21 last hits. That's still better than you're seeing from Alacrity, and Drew's farm is not even as good as Moon's farm right now.
The thing is on the Riki as well, you don't really need too much farm, right? You get a couple Wraith Bands, you get your treads, and then you join your team. Sometimes you see the Riki that just wants to farm till Diffusal, but in most cases, and especially with a draft like this from Fnatic, you generally will just group up and start fighting. And especially when you have someone like a Monkey King on your team that has had such a good lane, the possibilities here are Moon is probably going to make a rotation down bot very, very soon and probably try and set up a kill. In fact, you look over to Moon right now, John, he's already level 6, about to hit the level 7 mark, top of the last hits board.
Yeah, it's been a great time for him. There is some action bot, but it's so hard to pin down Savage when he has a blink up.
Top lane, KYXY ends up dying to Ice, and bot lane, they do end up finding Jabs. They won't really find the main target, which was Savage, and Savage, in fact, is scared of nothing, going after creeps even though they are surrounded by heroes right now. Blinks right back in onto Nuts. He really just doesn't care. This could be very dangerous, though. Savage still blinking and juking around. He does find the Phoenix. Can he get himself out of here? It looks like he probably can. Hustler will not be able to get through all that HP without Battery Assault, and now Savage going to turn around and dish it back to him. In fact, you're not really going to keep going, are you? No, he'll just take some Cogs gold.
Yeah, it's bot lane is not slowing Savage down enough. Like, sure, you argue that the Riki doesn't need too much farm. You are giving him kills. You haven't been killing the Riki. You've been killing Jabs. And Fnatic's perfectly fine with that. They tend to understand that Jabs is someone they can constantly sack. He's still going to get the EXP somehow.
I mean, it's a Winter Wyvern after all, right? You get level 6 and your job is done. Just press your R button when you need to. Drew has rotated up top lane on the Troll, and you can kind of tell how the state of the game is going now for RR. Like, you've rotated your Troll up top lane, but you've still got KYXY there, and he doesn't have a TP. So it looks like Drew is just going to be relegated back into his own jungle now. But that just means that Savage is going to have a completely free lane, and I suppose the one positive is Hustler's going to get some free XP for himself. Whether that's going to be a good thing or not, only time will tell. I don't think it is, though.
It's not a good trade-off. Like, the EXP is great on Hustler, but at the cost of giving so much to the Riki, not what you want from that lane. And top, KYXY?
Ends up going down. Hustler again rotating in on the clock, but you just can't... Oh, one of his kisses flying out. That's a lot of damage with the Powerless Strike. Hustler, he's just dead.
Yeah, just try to save himself from the chase with the cogs that cost him his own life instead. And these early levels on Fnatic really playing strongly. Ice is just dishing that damage out, and I love the commitment here from Fnatic to just get an early rotation. They're going to be able to secure the tier 1, maybe find more.
Maybe. Alacrity, that is a very slow remnant right now. It's still walking its way over. Any day now, it does finally stop. Alacrity still going down, and he knows he's dead. He's going nowhere. It's just a matter of, do you want to give the kill over to Ice or Moon? And unfortunately, it ends up being 23 Savage that takes it on the Ricky.
Yeah, it's so much activity from Fnatic, and we've reached that point where you do have capabilities to just keep going. Like, you're about to hit the level 6 marks on your supports. DJ and Jabs are both about to tome away, so they'll probably prioritize. I won't say they'll actually prioritize Jabs, but it's more than likely DJ, just because he's on the pause 4. But once you have those level 6s in these heroes, man, your team fights shoot up, and it's not like it was shabby anyway.
No. Alacrity tries to make a jump now to DJ. Great Fisher out on TP. He doesn't really make it out. Oh, he does. Okay, fair enough. There was no chains available. Now Nuts is going to die, and Alacrity tries to Remnant out, but you know Moon's waiting, though. Nice dodge on the Boundless Strike. They will not actually be able to capitalize thanks to that juke. In fact, Alacrity making extra efficiency plays, running straight towards the bounty runes now, and should be able to get there before Jabs. So it does make it so his team finds 4 bounty runes, and that is actually a big deal. In fact, Jabs now out of position, trying to TP his way out, and he should be fine in doing so.
Yeah, and DJ?
Savage forgets his couriers on the way and ends up giving it away to Alacrity. Not great for him.
Yeah, gonna slow it down just a bit. It was one of his Alacrities you mentioned, so part of his defusal, just a bit of damage away. I don't think it matters too much. As long as the defusal actually comes out in that next minute and a half, you're fine. It's not gonna be that fast. But you need a lot more here from RR. Like, you've got 6 on Hustle at least. You've got some opportunities with the Ember Clock to reach into squishy heroes. You've got to kind of do that now.
Oh, look at Moon bot lane. He's ready to go on KYXY. It is not going to be the easiest kill, but he'll just jump in. Just get a bit of damage out there onto him. Take your Boundless, or your Jingu Mastery and go back to farming. Nuts, though, probably is going to die. Tricks the trade up the cliff. Savage is on point, though. Great chains from Alacrity, but those are only level 1 chains. It's just not going to be enough time. It's unfortunate to say the least, but well, at the very least, they're not too far behind, right? Like, they're only 1k net worth behind. So yeah, there's still a lot of space for Fnatic to grow, but they've got a chance here, RR. In fact, nice hookshot to Ice down a bot lane. It's going to force Moon to jump in, though, with that Wukong's command, and now a Fisher. DJ blocks him in. This is really, really bad news. KYXY going to end up losing his life with the Primal Spring. In fact, Echo committed by DJ, just in case.
Oh, that was definitely unnecessary.
They're trying to kill off Jab's mid lane, though. Great Winter's Curse out. Nuts, he's going to go down to Savage. They always find a trade. It's like, if you're going to take one of our heroes, we're taking one of yours. The bot lane, there could be an even worse trade for Fnatic. Moon, he ends up going down to Drew. A great pickup from the Troll Warlord, but now Savage is here. Hustler, near chase down, and does end up losing his life. So ultimately still in the favor of Fnatic, but killing off that Monkey King, not bad news though. Now KYXY, what are you doing there, sir? Gotta get out of there. Fish is there, Cookie does not land. They will not risk it any further.
Yeah, it's been super active for Fnatic. They've found so many trades. Like, RR is starting to find a few. They've climbed to 4 kills. We saw a few of them. The biggest issue for Fnatic, actually, is that despite these kills, they haven't really shut up too much in net worth. So there is still a lot going for RR. 1k behind at 13 minutes in isn't too bad. Like, Drew's timing on his defusal is looking pretty good. He's not too far behind compared to Savage. And in this point, I'd say the Troll with some early itemization is a bit scarier than the Riki. The Riki becomes a real monster after like 2 to 3 items. The Troll is a monster with just 1. So it's something to watch out for. The issue is it's just super hard for RR to maximize Drew. Like, he has nothing to save him beyond level 6 from KYXY, but he doesn't have that Guardian Angel.
Well, at least a bit more good news for RR now. They end up finding Jabs down at the bot lane, and that'll finally open up that bottom tier 1 tower, though mid lane. Nuts almost loses his life on the Phoenix. He does have egg available, and he does also have a mango, so he can definitely commit. Though Blink Strike there with the tricks of the trade, it's not enough, and he gets the egg off with the ensnare from Drew. This could be really, really bad for Fnatic. They do not want to lose Savage like this, but they have no choice. And now DJ, he'll get jumped on, but do they have the lockdown? Sunray's there from Nuts, but a great boundless strike from Moon. And Hustler does not have the hook shot right now, so he can't really commit all the way, but the fact that you found Savage in that instance is pretty darn nice.
Yeah, it gave them a lot of gold. That was 500 for that kill, going straight to Drew. So now he takes over on the network leaderboard, and it gives this troll just a lot more potency. Again, the Riki is great. It takes a bit more itemization or really good team fights, and Fnatic has... they didn't have their ults up. They need to kind of wait for that before forcing these big fights.
Top lane finds DJ in the hook shot, and Echo committed for this just to set up for Savage, as Ice will also throw out the Mortimer's Kisses. Just everything being committed onto Hustler to make sure he dies. That seemed a bit desperate though, I'll be honest, John.
Yeah, like you rely on these big team fight ults for bigger engagements. So this means, again, no kisses coming up when RR groups up as 5. You're not going to have the slam up again when RR groups up as 5. This is going to be costly. RR should play around this. Like, this is a key time for them to just group as 5, put your tower down, find some kills. Fnatic can't trade too well while those spells are down.
Bottom lane, Jabs trying to be there to defend Nuts. He does spot him out now, and the Sunray is going to come out, and Jabs, he is all alone. Exactly how he will die, or maybe he won't. He does have Curse. No, he won't waste the spell. He'll just die. That'll open up that bottom T2 tower. They have a siege creep there, and suddenly RR are in the lead. Though they may feel like they need to defend that mid T1. Hook shot in from Hustler. KYXY there with follow-up damage. Moon, he's in trouble. Sunray on top. Though nice cookie from Ice, and now the egg. It has been popped. Drew, he'll jump immediately onto Ice. Meanwhile, Alacrity found Moon on the Ember Spirit. So Moon on the Monkey does die. And now Drew, he does clean up Ice. As Hustler is also going to make a chase, but actually avoids going after Savage. He could have Blink Striked out of the cogs anyway, so there's no real point to it. But now RR, they're in the driver's seat. They can take that T1 mid.
Yeah, it's down to the fact that RR is much more disciplined with their ults. Like, they aren't as reliant on them. Although Guardian Angel is pretty much big, but that's it. Like, even the egg is kind of just a bonus to have in the background. Right now, you look at Drew, he has his diffusal up. That's enough to make a troll really scary. Like, he just has so much more at this point in the game compared to Riki. So this is the time where Fnatic needs to have Savage build up to maybe 1 or 2 more items. He is going for the Manta next, and that's going to help at least a bit more.
Yeah, but look what DJ just picked up, John. He's got the blink.
Oh, yeah.
Got to echo in 10 seconds. You know what happens when DJ gets his item, but oh, Savage ends up going down mid lane, and now Moon trying to man fight Drew, but Drew has the battle trance. He does pop it. This could be dangerous. He tries to mischief dodge, but there's the ensnares coming out, and now the echo DJ. He'll save the day for the side of Fnatic. KYXY still going to try and fight up against Moon. Jab's now coming in as well. They do get the Jingu, but oh, Alacrity, he cleans him up. Now the Sunray's there as well, and they may just chase Ice. They may chase DJ instead. A nice Fisher is there. They'll leave them be. They found such good trades across the map anyway. It's a 3-for-1. And 2 of those 3 was the Riki and Monkey, John. That is not good for Fnatic.
Nah, Fnatic, they've got to reel it back in, be much more disciplined about their ults. Like, DJ had a pretty decent echo. It wasn't the best, but it was good for what it was. It just didn't give them enough. You want there to be follow-up. You want there maybe to have the Winter's Curse on a better target. And you definitely need Wukongs to fly out. They didn't manage to get that spell, so Fnatic, they are starting to taper off in that power spike, and RR is picking up pace. What they can do now is either play around the ults or farm up. Savage, you need to wait for this guy to have the Manta and BKB. Just the Manta might not be enough. Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Bit of the classic misclick. It happens, John. I will admit I've done that quite a few times myself, but
Hustler?
Top lane, Hustler does get caught out. Now Alacrity just going to be forced to remnant away just in case. Fnatic with this draft still feel like they need to be the aggressors. They can't really slow down. And as of now, they may just go ahead and try to take that top tier 2 because KYXY, he's found the bottom tier 2 tower for the side of RR. So they're going to need to find a trade of some sort. But while you're doing that, you look to that mid lane. RR is starting to force that in, and now Winter's Curse will come out from Jabs to try and set up. DJ is there as well. Sunray gonna help, and now with the chain Sunray, DJ is burning alive. Whoa. He does get cookied out of there. But John, I want you to have a look at the Ember Spirit's items right now. He just got a Yules. He has had nothing this whole game apart from Phase Boot's Blightstone. And he's still 4-2. Coming from that mid lane where he had to go up against the Monkey, that is impressive.
Yeah, it's been really just great plays from Alacrity. Like, he has no item advantage. Alacrity's still having better time in terms of farm, so it's just down to his target choices, his movement. It has all been really darn good. Another thing for Fnatic, like right now, is you mentioned them trying to trade. They can't push. They just don't have push in this lineup. So every single time they go to the top tower, try to shove it in, it doesn't really tick down.
It really is the case. It was Fnatic believing they'd be able to set a pace that RR wouldn't be able to keep up with this kind of draft, which is generally the reason why you go these kind of drafts, but they did not get that start they needed, and now mid lane, Ice just saw Alacrity. He thinks he's alone. He is not, however. Hustler comes in with a hook shot. Now the cogs as well. Ice understands he is definitely dead. They did not have the curse to follow up as he had no mana on Jabs. There will be a smoke screen. Now Wukong's command. They might turn this Fnatic. DJ as well with the Echo. They won't throw it out yet. The egg is there. They've got to be careful. DJ being chased by Alacrity. Still having the Echo, but he will not get the chance to use it. But still, you found Drew. You're going to be decently satisfied. And now Savage. Another smoke screen, but he blinks out of there. So a 2-for-1 trade, but you got the pos one of the Dire.
Yeah, it's a bit of a better trade for Fnatic. Taking out Drew is much more worthwhile. This does mean that RR does have a couple of tools. The next time they do fight, they still have the Guardian Angel up. They still have the Battle Trance. None of those spells were expended. Whereas Fnatic did throw out the Wukongs. Not too long, but they do have an opportunity with the fact that the Echo and the Mortimer's Kisses are still up, so they can actually just go back in. Knowing the egg is down, it is a bit of a window for Fnatic.
They smoke up, they know this. Blade Mail now also picked up by Hustler. We'll see if that does anything during the next team fight. Hustler looks like he's going to break the smoke here, but Savage is on the front lines. Goes in for the Blink Strike. Blade Mail will be popped. Now Ice showing himself as well, so they'll get one. Now KYXY, he's going to be in big trouble, but he pops the Guardian Angel. They need to back off now, or maybe they don't. They go for the Mortimer's Kisses, but the Yules are there to cancel that off. And now Drew comes in. He's feeling confident. He doesn't have anything like a BKB yet, but he feels like he can take the fight. But now DJ jumps in for the Echo. It wasn't that great. It missed every single hero apart from Drew, and now DJ may actually die as the Whirling Axes come out, just hitting away. Though nice Winter's Curse now. Savage trying to jump onto KYXY as well. He will get the Omni. Drew is still being kited here on the Troll, but Alacrity at least finds Ice. Nuts may die in the Phoenix, but no, he gets the egg off. Can they protect the egg, however? They cannot. It will die. Now Alacrity, he's in trouble. Smokescreen will be there. Savage, he's on a triple. Drew gets the Battle Trance off now. We'll get Jabs on the Wyvern, but Moon, can he man fight? No, there's a basher on Drew. He gets a bash and he gets the kill. And now Hustler, he'll come back in. Pops a dust. What a hook shot. He finds Savage. Savage on a triple trying to run away, but no. Now Drew's on a triple kill. And DJ is the only man left standing. He'll get out of there. And I'll be frank, John, I don't know who won that team fight, but I believe it was RR.
RR by a very slight edge. They had to trade a lot there. The staggered nature of that fight meant that we actually did see the egg come out in the end. So that played nicely into the hands of RR. And even if you lost Nuts there, he did get enough damage out. You had a lot of distractions there that splintered the focus of Fnatic and just allowed a cleanup. So kind of worthwhile. Like, that fight does allow RR to go straight into the pit, and Fnatic, after having expended Winter's Curse, although it's back up now, the Slam's not up, they can't fight in that pit. So the first Aegis should just go the way of RR, and that gives them a lot more breathing room to kind of dictate the pace of this game.
Oh, Ice actually gets the Roshan kill with Mortimer's Kisses. Very nice timing, but it may cost him his life. Hustler, yeah, they'll get the chains. He does Guiding Greaves it off, but Ice almost certainly just going to die. He's trapped in the tree line. They have Rocket Flare. He's got no way out. Maybe you'd call that worth for the Roshan gold, because he did actually get it. Maybe you'd call that not worth. I'm not sure. It is a fair bit of gold to your whole team. It's basically like 2 bounty runes at this stage of the game.
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty nice pickup, especially since you're still waiting for certain item pickups on Savage. So he's going for the Manta and then the Nullifier instead. So he's not going all in on defense. I think that Nullifier is super important. It's a Ricky. They're going to be proccing that effect every time you throw it out. So it gives you a really good way of kiting around the Troll, kiting around the Ember once he expends the Remnants out, and that's going to be a massive spike for Savage once he farms it. He has to finish the Manta first, which is nice. It doesn't quite fully fix the issues he's having right now, though.
No, it's not. And RR still in the driver's seat, 3k net worth lead, but there is a BKB now up on Moon. He has had a lot of problems with the Ember. Of course, the Phoenix has been causing some issues, and even the clock. It isn't going to solve the issue of Drew, though. Like, if he gets that Battle Trance proc onto the Monkey King, he's got a Basher, he's going to just bash through the BKB. You've still got the same problem, and I'm not sure what he can do to stop that from happening. Obviously, you need someone with a Heaven's Halberd for this Troll. Problem is now Drew has a BKB up, and that's perfect timing as well, because he's got a 10-second charge. He's going to take the tier 2 tower, or maybe he won't. Ice will delay things with that Mortimer's Kisses, but Drew will come back in. He'll take the tier 2. However, bot lane, Alacrity gets jumped on Primal Spring, but you have to wait for Savage. They actually jumped in with the Spring rather than the Fissure or the Smokescreen. It cost them a really big kill.
Yeah, they can try to apply pressure in the tower as a consolation prize, but there's enough time for R to respond. Ooh.
No hustle there. Moon forced to pop that 10-second charge. He's going to TP out of there, and he will eventually just jump away. Won't waste the TP, rather hold on to it. Nice Rocket Flare, actually did scout him out, I believe, but no, it was just off. It's fine anyway, they didn't have hookshot.
It's you are seeing some of the issues for Fnatic. Like, they can't even get a strong split push going. That was a very long time where RR was not even in the bot lane. They had free reign to just get damage onto the tower, and the tier 2 still stands. So there's a lot that Fnatic needs to kind of prioritize here, and ooh.
Oh, Alacrity, he jumps in straight onto Jabs. And Jabs is having a very rough game. Meanwhile, mid lane hookshot is going to be there on Savage. They love going on this man. But Savage, of course, will be able to blink away. And Hustler, I believe his dust was just on cooldown at the time. So he couldn't actually get the reveal off. But still, without that Wyvern, you may feel confident enough to just go mid. There is no buyback on Jabs, and you're not really expecting this to happen to you 27 minutes into the game, but well, Drew, he still has the Aegis, so he can try, at least for this tower. GG off my Ice, and well, Drew won't mind. I'm sure he agrees with Ice on that tree drop. Still got the Aegis. You may as well keep going. Just don't bunch up for DJ. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's slow going, but it's much more consistent of a push. Like, if this was Fnatic pushing it, the damage wouldn't nearly be as good in the objective. They pull back just a bit, wait for the wave to come in. It's going to be a really slow time. I think they're trying to play it safe. There is strong potency in Fnatic, not just with a slam, but it's a perfect spot for big Winter's Curse, and Wukong's on top is just super hard to fight, so a lot to be scared of. RR respects that, and just back off, farm up.
they may feel confident to go back in again very soon, John. Alacrity just found a double damage rune on the Ember. And he also has the Maelstrom up, so he has damage on Moon. Be a prime target if he jumps out of that tree.
No.
Just Alacrity, do you want to just blind check the trees? Moon will jump away anyway. Rocket Flare, just to the right side of the map. Won't actually scout out anything, but now the Primal Spring, that'll give them enough information. But DJ is waiting for the bait hook shot, barely not landing, but they'll take DJ. It's fine. The monkey can jump away. We'll take the Earthshaker. Moon will now reveal himself again, but of course in Monkey King fashion, you could just clear out a creep wave and just jump across the map. It's a very balanced hero, John. I love seeing this. Well, the Rocket Flare was pretty on point, but I don't know if they can keep chasing. They don't have hookshot for another 15. Maybe they can, though. They are wasting time.
Yeah, I mean, this has bought enough time that Savage actually melted the tower. You know, that's a Ricky that tier 2 top. Good objective for Fnatic. Definitely what they need. And surprising that RR let that happen. Like, that's a pretty nice take for them. It gives them a fairly safe area to farm, just a little bit, at least in this distant top jungle area. So there's a stable area now for Savage to kind of build up into what he needs.
I gotta say as well, John, I love the itemization here from Ice. He went for that halberd now. So you're not going to be feeling quite as helpless once that battle trance comes out from Drew. Of course, again, you do still have the BKB, so it is going to be problematic as to when you do time the halberd. And I suppose with the Snapfire as well, you don't necessarily want to be so close to actually get the halberd off on the troll, as you do want to generally be within safety range, just using that Mortimer's Kisses, but sometimes you don't really have a choice. You've just got to do that, do what you need to do. And I love the next item as well, the Aghanim Scepter on Ice. So he is really going to utilize this this gobble up ability where you just spit someone out a mile away. And, I mean, it can work, John. You can't underestimate it, especially with something like an Earthshaker. Like if DJ gets spat onto the other team.
Yeah, that's terrifying. It just plays into what Fnatic has quite nicely, which is great. I think the one thing you have to be worried about is when you land at Halberd, you have to be aware of where KYXY is. If you're not, well, he can just drop the Heavenly Grace, and it's not going to dispel, but I believe that does kind of decrease the duration of it, just in general. So you have to watch out for that posturing from RR with the Omni Knight. It's just super hard to really stop Drew from getting what he wants done. You've got some pretty nice items coming out as well next for RR. Like, you take a look at Alacrity. He's of course going for the Ags and the Ember, and he's just about 700 gold away. So once that's up, it's going to allow him to pump even more damage out. And I love this move from RR. They are kind of aware as to where Fnatic is because they've scouted that entire bot jungle. They smoke. They're going to head top.
Yeah, they found a haste rune, and there was no ward watching that rune either, so Drew will get broken here, but he has an Abyssal, and they find Jabs immediately. Hookshot didn't quite land on the Monkey King, so he'll be fine, but... Well, top lane, Alacrity, make it jump. DJ's there with the Echo, jumps in. Now Savage as well. And it's a very, very quick process for Fnatic, assuming you do find that kind of situation. And now, maybe with Alacrity down, they could feel confident enough to take another team fight. But it looks like they'll stay back for now. RR have already kind of backed off as well. And I guess this has bought a lot of time for Savage. Like, you look at his item build now, he has an MKB up.
Yeah, it's kind of hard now for the troll. Like, he has no way of mitigating.
Hookshot is there, Sunray as well. Moon forced to use that BKB again. They are still chasing him down. He doesn't really have much help around the corner, but he does have Tree Dance, and that is much more than enough apparently to just get him out of that situation.
Yeah, this is getting to be a bit of an issue for RR. They don't quite have the lockdown for Moon. They need to somehow keep him in one spot. They probably just need something like a root, so even an Atos would be helpful once that BKB is gone. You just need to hold him down. There we go.
Yeah, and he came back. That's the thing as well. Like, you generally assume the Monkey King would have just left and started farming again, but Moon just patiently waited right next to them the whole time. Finds an easy Phoenix kill with the help of DJ. And now Fnatic, they're setting up for the next Roshan attempt, which will be here and ready to go in 40 seconds. Just...
Yeah, this is going to be really important for both teams because they're kind of landlocked. Well, not landlocked, but locked in with objectives. Neither side can really push out without that Roche. So RR will need that for the high ground, and Fnatic just needs that extra tool to kind of secure themselves additional objectives. And it's going to be much stronger for Fnatic in that area, simply because they've got all the big team fight ults in such a tight spot. So it's going to favor them. RR is going to have to be really careful going in. They do have the Ags finished up on Alacrity, so he can kind of play dance around now with the Ember. Just dip into back, maybe find DJ,
Alacrity.
maybe find Jab. So
not getting lucky with the trees. He keeps barely missing the trees that he wants to get with the remnants, and Moon's out of there. Such a close call.
yeah, it's it wastes a lot of time though when you kind of commit to chase down the monkey. It would be a really big kill, sure, but this is again just buying time for Savage to get big and inching closer towards his BKB. Once that's up, you won't really have anything to fully control the Riki anymore.
Now that Roshan's up as well, Savage may want to rejoin his team, and could say the same for Jabs. Both of them have TPs available. No real rush. Because you do have the presence of Moon there, but there will be a smoke coming out now from RR. They see Ice, but they don't see Moon, who does break the smoke. Rocket Flare forward, but there's no hookshot angle for him. So Alacrity, he'll jump in. We'll jump back out. Wukong's command is there, but Drew, he's abyssalled onto Jabs. Jabs will be fine, though. He gets away, but now Alacrity gonna chase. There's that curse. Savage is here as well. Blink striping back onto the Ember. They really want Alacrity dead, but now the hookshot Hustler. He's bought enough time. There's the egg as well with the Guardian Angel, and they look to be in a pretty bad position here for the Fnatic. They lose DJ straight off the bat. Savage still going, finds Hustler eventually. Cookie forward onto Moon now, but he's been chained up. There's the cold embrace, but Drew, he can get some ensnares off now. He even gets a few bashes for his trouble, and he finally gets the kill. DJ brought back. But what a hook shot from Hustler just in the nick of time. And that was really the reason why they won the team fight to begin with.
Yeah, just really good positioning from RR. That did allow the egg to go off and back, and because of that fight, RR can go straight into the pit. So they're going to have that advantage. You don't have your team fight spells from Fnatic besides the Echo Slam, so they're going to be relying just on DJ landing the biggest slam you could hope for.
Oh, you've got Gobble up there now, John. Ice, he's got the Ags.
No.
Oh, Savage, you're going in. So smoke screen is there, jumping straight onto Drew. They'll delay things. The Roshan, it's not done yet. Now the Abyssal, straight onto Savage. He BKB'd up, but it may not matter. He's trying to run away, but he's getting bashed. Savage, he does bit. Oh, Alacrity, he finds him. And now the Echo DJ trying to turn it around. There's a curse as well, but Drew is there just whacking away. He doesn't care about the curse. DJ will die back immediately, and now Ice will die, but even trying to resist the side of RR as Moon is thinking about jumping back into the Roshan pit and trying to snipe the Roche, but it is still too healthy. The gobble up, I mean, it was a nice idea. It was definitely a surprise, but it just did not pay off.
No, definitely not. The follow-up needed to be a bit faster. You saw DJ opt to just stay outside and play with a Fisher instead, which costed him. Huh?
He's still in trouble. Moon's trying to get a tree dance off, but that Flame Guard just continues to tick him away, so he BKBs. Rocket Flare gonna give vision. Hustler does have hook, but he won't bother. There's objectives to be taken across the map, and well, RR, they may have enough time. That damn gobble up is so silly. They might have enough time to get a tier 3 tower at least. Because they didn't actually go back for the Roche. Oh, no, they did. Excuse me. They did. But with the Riki down, with DJ down.
Yeah, there's nothing to be scared of. Like, you're gonna be a bit annoyed by the kit, but the curse is up. Now, the last time that was used by Jabs, that was so unfortunate. Like, Drew was just outside range and Savage?
Savage, match is off. Here comes those kisses. Savage gets the defusal onto Drew, but he'll just slowly walk his way out. And RR, they can happily reset. It looks like Moon's becoming a real issue though on the Monkey King, just continuously split pushing this top lane. So Alacrity's been forced to come back and defend this out, but they are not backing off. They're going back into that mid lane. Another gobble up, stunning up Drew, but he'll be fine. Now a nice Fisher as well. But there's so much heal on the side of RR. And now Alacrity will join his team.
Yeah, they need to play as 5. This has bought Fnatic enough time to have their ults back up. So the Chris is up, the Slam is up from DJ, even the Wukong's command is up from Moon if he does decide to join the defense. So there's a lot to be scared of now, if you're not careful.
Radiant are scanning.
Fnatic, how do you do it? Just so much potential, but they just seem to be lacking so much when you get into those team fights. Moon's still just split pushing that top lane. Doing his best to force them back. Of course, Alacrity will be there to clear it out once again and just remnant his way back to the team. They are going to control pretty much every boundary rune across the map as well on RR, so it's not like you're going to be short for gold. It's just going to keep going up and up. If you're Fnatic, you're just playing this really weird kind of waiting game. You know they're going to come high ground eventually, but you're just trying to buy enough space that maybe Savage can get a bit more gold, maybe he can get one more item. You know, something a bit more game-changing than what he's got.
Yeah, I think right now what Fnatic is waiting for is really just the big fight on the high ground. It's not really itemization per se, it's just that the high ground plays really well for them. That's why RR is kind of hesitant. They pull back really easily because they're scared of the Winter's Curse, the Slam. It's just all a bit too scary, and RR doesn't play into the high ground well, so it's their fight to lose. Oh.
Moon, hook shot. DJ is there to help.
Oh.
Throws the echo out. It's a lot of damage now with the Boundless Strike. Moon, he might find this kill though. No, Alacrity will run it away. Now the Wukong's coming out trying to secure the clock, but he can spider legs out there. Alacrity, what a double chains there. Moon is just trapped up right now in a very awkward spot, and DJ, you are not going anywhere, says Alacrity. He does manage to blink out in time, but they spot him, the creeps.
Oh, man.
Oh, the creeps have snitched on DJ. How dare they? Now the Fire Spirits to fly out.
Yeah.
DJ, he didn't do nothing wrong, John. He was just with the Monkey King trying to hang out, and he did not like it.
This is gonna cost them. There's no buyback on Moon, so they're not gonna have the monkey for a minute 20, and that's gonna be enough time for Fnatic to get some serious damage onto a tower. They don't even have to worry about DJ as well. He has no buyback, so they can really just go for a nice fast objective here.
Look at Savage though. Bot lane just split pushing. Almost has the T3 tower. They need to find something quick, but that repair kit being really frustrating. But Ice now, he's been caught out. Still waiting for a Lucky Basher and Snare, but here comes the hook shot. Now the Cold Embrace flying out from Jabs, just trying to protect Ice, but he is going down. However, with that Winter's Curse, they may at least get KYXY, and they do. Meanwhile, Savage is still finding a Rax, John. He is pretty much all the way through it. And Alacrity just says, I gotta go back and defend, guys. This is not good. Savage, blink striking back onto the Ember. May have put himself in a peculiar situation. He really just wants to finish off the melee barracks. He has his heat creep doing that anyway. Meanwhile, bot lane, they're going after Nuts. They get the Fisher. They have the cookie. Nuts will die. Hook shot there from Hustler, but it is all too late. Drew, are you going back in? It looks like he is, but he just lost his Aegis. It timed down. He does find Jabs. Can he take down Savage? He'll go after Ice. I believe this will be a dieback on Ice if he does go down, but he cookies up the cliff. And now Drew, he's falling low. No second life. Tricks the raid. DJ with the Fisher. They're setting up, and this is really bad now for RR. They are throwing a lot of golden XP back the way of Fnatic. And John, I can't believe I'm saying this, but RR leave that team fight 1 Rax down.
Yeah, apparently the split push coming out from Savage is a bit too much. So, despite having the 6k lead, despite being ahead in kills, RR are on the back foot now. 1 racks behind. Fnatic with those sets of kills, with the fact that they still have the Echo Slam up, they've got the Wukong's command up, they've got the Winter's Curse, they could really force a lot of damage now on the other lanes. Like, RR has to be super cautious. They don't have buyback on Hustler just yet, so it's gonna be a bit vulnerable, and even when he has buyback up, you really don't want to commit it, but you're gonna have to.
I love Ice. He's just casually gobbling up creeps and spitting him out on the high ground. Poor creeps are just doing nothing wrong. They're just minding their own business, trying to push the mid lane. So the team fight may break out. Savage, he's jumped straight on Alacrity, but now a hook shot won't be on the Ricky. Remnant forward, however, did pop his 10-second BKB charge on that Ember. So he wanted to make some form of use, but gets nothing out of it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good move from Fnatic. They force the buyback, they back off, they don't expend any ults. They're giving themselves a lot of time here. They know now that it is swinging a bit their way, and RR has to kind of find a solution here. You need that Satanic up and Drew. I think that's going to be really important. He has no sustain trance, and outside of having the Phoenix on him, so he needs that lifesteal coming out. Once it's up, he's in a much better spot. It's just that you need Satanic plus buyback. So he's going to have to farm a little bit more to get himself to that point.
I mean, he's got the gold for it almost. You generally don't want to waste your buyback gold though, right? You need to hold on to that at this point of the game. But I would agree that Satanic is going to be super important. So Fnatic, though, they're just looking stronger and stronger as time goes on. Like, you look at Moon, he's got the full Desolator up now. So you've definitely got a lot more push potential on the side of Fnatic if they do win another team fight. And, well, that team fight might be coming very, very soon, as you do see Jabs trying to look for an opportunity to start off with a curse. You won't quite find it, but you look to that top lane. Savage has been split pushing again as the Ricky. Alacrity is forced to defend for his team. But this is getting to that point now for RR where this is going to start being very, very frustrating. So you just tend to feel like you can't get anything done when this split push happens.
Yeah, it's hard to counteract that. At least Reality Rift does have an Ember Spirit, so they can kind of jump around the map a bit easier. You might want to consider investing in Travels instead first for Alacrity, just so he has a lot more leeway in rejoining these fights as he needs to, or going back to shove out a lane. But beyond that, Fnatic has been working this really well. Like, they've stalled the game out long enough, they're still in a really good spot, and if they get a good initiation here, that could be trouble for RR.
Could be, but Drew has a double damage. That's a lot of damage on a troll. They did. Hustler straight on to that monkey. Try and take down Moon. A great cogs as well, splitting up that team fight. But the cold embrace and the gobble up, spitting him out to the high ground. But it will be enough. Hustler, he'll die. What a play from Ice, saving Moon's line and setting him up. But now Drew pops the battle trance. He's on the high ground, however. It's not great. The egg is there as well. But nobody's going to get caught in it. Savage, he'll jump back in. DJ still has the Echo as well. Fisher to set up, finds 2 of them, and now the Echo committed straight on top of Drew. And this is looking much, much worse for RR now. They'll lose KYXY, and, well, you think Nuts is safe? Not really. Moon, he'll get a first hit bash. A gobble up as well.
Man.
Yeah. And there's the tip to Ice. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, God. RR, it's not working in. Like, that smoke cost them a lot. It was immediately popped by Moon. Fnatic already knew where they were grouped up because they got a scan beforehand. And they fought into the high ground up against Fnatic when they have much better team fight. And that wasn't even a major factor. Like, we didn't see the Winter's Curse used up. We did see the slam, that's it. And now all the buybacks coming out to defend the racks.
They kind of have to. It's a bit rough being 2 racks behind, but that's 3 buy expended. It's a very hard situation now for RR, as well as the Roshan's up, and they're going to go straight for it on the side of Fnatic. And again, with that Desolator, with all the damage they have, it's not going to take very long at all. you start to question what RR can do.
I mean, you look at that network swing as well, Mike. It's just
crap.
won 11k just from that fight. It was 4k before. You know, RR still had a 4k lead. Now it's 13k.
That's a lot.
For Fnatic.
My
It
goodness.
just bounced so hard, and those buybacks cost them. Like, they have
Yeah.
to play super safe.
And that graph hasn't even updated properly.
Oh, boy.
It's still sitting at 7k. Winter's Curse does catch out KYXY. You need him alive. Wukong's command. Hustler does hook shot in. The Echo though, DJ, he found absolutely everybody. He just blows them up. And that's over. It's GG.
Oh,
DJ
man.
just slams the lid shut on this game. He's had enough.
Looked super dicey for a while. In the mid game, maybe 20 to 30 minutes, it just looked a bit wonky. They weren't quite finding the timings. Savage wasn't ready.
FY, he's found himself no tail out on his own.
He's trapped him.
There's no tail. Is he going to get any sort of backup? No, he's not. There's 3 still dead on OG. It'll be a slow and painful death here if we don't tail. Azame comes in for the kill secure.
And I love the way that Chalice popped his BKB super early in that fight. He just knows, I just need to get my ulti off. And he cast it at a very safe range. He didn't wait for like the last second of his BKB. He's not very greedy. I think that's a lot of the reason why they've been winning these team fights. Seb has been struggling, still about 1,000 gold away from his BKB.
Yeah, this Brewmaster is a display of perfection, really. It's the highest level in the game with his Bloodseekers.
And doing a ton of damage in the fight. It's one of the most damage in the game as an offlaner.
Now has full Shiva, so even more ways. He's pretty much itemized entirely just to be like, Ana, I'm ruining your game. I've got Radiance, I've got Shivas. You're gonna struggle so much in these fights as Phantom Lancer.
Eric's did his best to keep Ana alive, and but Ana wasn't able to do damage because he was ruptured. He wasn't that low on HP, but still can't run around.
Seb,
Oh, Ame's coming in this here.
got to be
Watch
careful who
Jerax.
shows up top. Indeed, Jerax. He's going out on his own. He doesn't expect Azame to have this invis rune. Azame will show himself. Jerax goes across, but Somnus is there.
Son is not messing around rupturing there.
No mercy. They're feeling very confident now at this point, getting these very advantageous team fights as well as getting kills on the split push too. Thompson though, we'll find X-Nova.
Seb, in as well. Between the two of them, they'll take down the support edge. FY's going to come in though. He hasn't got anyone else with him at the moment. It is just FY, so
Yes.
just playing around with Seb.
He has no help around at all, and he's still just making Seb's life miserable.
He's just toying with him. He's just making him not be able to come back. Look, they're already starting to rotate this Brewmaster and Bloodseeker too, and FY, he's ready to look for Seb.
Seb's got to get out.
Oh, Seb.
As indeed FY, the patience keeping that control on Seb, buying time for Chalice to come in. Ana is going to look towards the Tusk. The Chalice is now there, does have Primal Split available if he wants to look to take this fight. Somnus coming in as well. As Ana, Seb look to hide in the trees. Can they get out of it? Ana's got a TP available. He's into the trees, he's going to show himself in the lane though. They're going to continue to head over. They are going to see Seb make it out in time. They don't have a stun. Ana, can he get out as well? He can. OG will avoid that rotation from PSG LGD.
FY is just so obnoxious there, following Seb for over a minute, just stalking him, trying to have his team come over.
So that's about, a minute without Aegis being used for LGD. They have 2 minutes left, I would say, to capitalize on this Aegis. Oh man, looks like he is level up the
pretty much back to a 50-50. PSG LGD 2-1 up at the moment in this best of 5 grand finals. 1 game needed to secure the championship title. And at this point, they are ahead here in game 4.
No-Tail hasn't had time to gather a full army of Ancient Creeps. Right now, he just has the Ancient Black Dragon. You really want those other auras when you're at a big disadvantage in the team fights already.
Yeah, it's tough though, because Jerax doesn't want to be following around his Chen, giving him the Aghanim, so. As Thompson, he does have a Lincoln Sphere picked up, and they should have the BKB finished on Seb too. So that'll give him a little bit easier time to get those Blink calls as he's been suffering to do so in the last few fights. And Somnus, I've Scotty picked up, about to be level 25 as well.
Yeah, they just need a couple more minutes on the side of OG before they're ready to fight. Wait for the age to expire.
Seb, he's in, gets the call, the character's going to get FY, there with the snowball save, he's going to be fine, and now they turn to look towards the axe. The taunt's going to be out, Seb goes for the TP, they've got the stun to cancel though. Seb held back for now, Thompson trying to offer his best from the side to provide some sort of safety, as he will get Seb back. They're able to get Seb back to safety, and Thompson, he's running away. X-Nova's there with the wraparound, gets the slow off, gives the vision for the snowball. TP from No-Tail's coming in towards the stride, but Thompson, he's trapped.
That's twice in the series that X-Nova just comes out of nowhere. Like, he's just on a warding expedition, then he just ends up wrapping behind these people constantly.
Perfect time.
Perfect timing, and has the Senton creep to boot. And look at these deep wards that he's placed during that time that he was running around doing so. He now has full vision of OG. Yeah, he sees Ana farming these Ancients right now.
Oh, Ana. FY just giving so much information for the team. He's got eyes on him. Get the punch on the wrong target, but the snowball pass will catch Ana. Ana, he's in trouble. The blood bright silence connects. He's got the man to back up in a second, but can he really play his way out of this one? He cannot. Ana down for a minute and a half.
Just having all this vision. And X-Nova throughout this whole tournament has had the best vision in every situation, even when you wouldn't expect it. They're just like, oh, they're fighting on the left side. They're not going to have vision over here. But no, X-Nova always seems to have those prepared in every situation.
And he has some incredible foresight to be able to have these wars that just lead to really clutch pickoffs. And Axe has not spent his money on BKB. He has the money, but he might be looking to save for buyback.
We'll see if any of the buybacks do get forced out. Thompson's still dead for 15. Ideally, he doesn't buy back here. They may have to buy back on Ana. He's gone for 50 seconds. The split coming out from Chalice. He's ready to push in, look for the stun on No-Tail to hold back the Chen as the mid-racks are exposed. PSG LGD, 40 minutes in, able to open into the base and clean out this mid lane of racks. Still Ana holding on to that buyback.
And they're going to keep going here. They really want to force this PL to come back here.
Stun onto Thompson. He will blink dodge it. But another tier 3 tower falling incredibly fast. They really don't want to use it. Seb jumps in, gets the call onto FY. There's the buyback. The Cataclysm isn't enough to do anything. It isn't. PSG LGD still fighting strong. Thompson getting focused by Somnus. Seb taken down by Arme. The triple buybacks now out as Ana in trouble. He's pulled back for this one. The deafening blast onto the 3 of them knocks them back. But Ana gets focused. Seb! He's in with the call. He has the control onto the morphing Somnus. Now being chased by Thompson. Blinks in with the cold snap. The PL army's on top of it. They get Somnus too. As OG, they have to expend 3 buybacks, but they hold on to the top rack. Somnus now down for 2 minutes. No buyback available on this Bloodseeker.
Yeah, he's 400 gold short of it. It's up in about 8 seconds. OG, they have to make so much happen here. They have to push out all their lanes. 2 of the side lanes are already going, but I think trying to get some kills here, like on FY here, would be very ideal.
I mean, look how close the Brew is at 25.
So close.
With that primal split cooldown.
Oh, Thompson, he sees it FY. He's used the snowball, he turns with the combo FY with the self-fuels, but OG, they've surrounded him. Seb jumps in with the call, the blade mail, FY's gone.
Instant buyback from FY.
Still that scary, scary time for LGD. 75 seconds without Somnus. OG have the full 5-man pushing in all 3 lanes at the same time as they approach LGD's base.
I don't even know if I get the head for this team fight. The LGD are goal, but no blood take up to 60 seconds. This could be disastrous.
He's got a full BKB on Seb as well.
Chalice really wants to hit level 25 before he pops that primal split. So close.
Just got to be careful, Seb. Looking for that blink initiation.
Chalice is stepping back. Grabs, they give him the tome. He needed like 5 experience, and they gave him the tome just to make sure that he gets it anyway. Just playing as safe as possible here.
Looks like OG don't feel that the window is big enough for them to push in whilst this Bloodseeker's still dead. They'll back away.
They can't fought back 3 heroes. They weren't able to get any T3s, and there's no Roshan up yet. Big Daddy No-Tail's praying for a Rosh right now so they can get that refresher, but it's not going to be up. And maybe will dodge a bullet.
At least they got a good amount of economy off that, right?
Yep.
It was up to a 15k gold advantage, and they chunked it down to 7. Same thing with experience. So they did get quite a lot out of that one, but they ideally wanted to get at least one of those sets of racks to get some momentum pushing in with those 3 buybacks used.
Absolutely, it is this really scary moment of the game now for OG. We're about 5-6 minutes still without those buybacks available. If PSG LGD can find that one team fight, it could be the team fight to win TI in this window of time that they now have presented to themselves.
Ana's gone full in for that butterfly too. As they pick up also an Aeon disc on Jeremy, so protected in O. DD did spawn, however, was killed.
It's also pretty scary for Maybe right now. He only has a 5-second BKB, and he does a lot of damage and will get wrecked by the X-Blade Mail Call if he finds it, especially with his BKB now. There's not that many ways to stop him.
So it's all about FY and Chalice, right? Just either saving or just getting into the midst of the fights and not allowing OG to get the picks.
And the smoke, it's going to be dispelled.
Let's get dispelled. But it's
He's in the trees, they're on the high ground, they've got the vision with the Shiva's covered, Anna's on his way over, they've got the snowball down, there's the Counterblade. Seb jumps in, he's able to find the call onto Challenge, but Challenge already got the BKB out, the Sunstroke's going to be down onto FY, but FY will survive. Seb posts the BKB, he'll try and stand his ground, but Seb, he's going to go down, no buyback on the axe, as Jerax as well, surrounded by PSG LGD, the Eon disc will proc, but they'll fight through it.
He has to buy back immediately.
Look at these creep track by these Force Spirits. On the bottom room, they have no creeps in the mid lane.
Sienna still holding on to that buyback on Jerax. But as Ben said, the creeps aren't here.
It's backdoor. And they breached through it. It's not looking like it right now. Maybe everyone hitting the same one.
That creep cutting, is it enough to hold OG in the game?
You see No-Tail's already running to just, he doesn't care. He's going to throw his life for this. He needs to just keep these creeps out of the base to keep that back door up. He doesn't care if he dies.
Which he certainly will, as they get upon him. They find his life. 1 minute now without No-Tail and without Seb. Thompson, Anna, and Jerax. The only 3 heroes that can offer their defense during this final minute, this final stand.
Jerax is really trying to hold on to his buyback.
As Chalice split of course up once again. They're finishing off this second set of racks. He's got the Cyclone holding Anna up in the skies. As this rack's on the top lane will fall, the melee rack's gone. PSG LGD playing this carefully. As they'll go down towards the bottom as well. Arme, doppelgangers, he's losing a fair bit of mana into the PL. Still able to shift back into that Morphling if needs be. As OG, they will lose that top racks, but they won't lose the game. PSG LGD are playing it safe. They know how close they are to victory, and they will not throw it away.
And they know that the Rosh is probably respawning pretty soon, and it actually is up, so that is that refresher shard. They already have pretty much infinite primal splits up anyway, but they feel very confident here.
They weren't able to deward that ward in the mid lane, so it looks like they are going for a Roach fake out.
Check. Anna is on top of X-Nova. The Ghost Head's going to get the set. He's in. The call, the MP, the counter, but FY is in. He's able to get the save off in time to keep this man alive. But Chalice it up. Chalice is down. Buyback from X-Nova and Chalice. FY with the Invis. Somnus looking to get involved. Post the BKB to get over the ice roll. They get on top of Seb. Seb's in trouble. Seb's gone. The axe down once again for 90 seconds. As now FY giving them the vision, but they see him. Got the doppelganger to jump away from the snowball. The snowball over to Thompson. The self-fuels. FY trying to buy time for the rest of LGD to come in. Again, up into the air. Arme straight on top of No-Tail. FY will fall. Arme looking towards No-Tail. No-Tail pops the hand of God, but No-Tail beat it down by Arme and Somnus. Chalice gets the primal split off as Anna. He's been left behind in Thompson. He's got to do something incredible in terms of the combo. Can he find the angle? Jerax coming in, keeping Anna alive. Anna with a doppelganger. The deafening blast comes out onto the 2 of them. Anna trying to go in, looking for the kill. Can he find it in time onto X-Nova? He's on top of him, trying to beat him down. Anna again with the doppelganger, now retreating back towards the base. As X-Nova will survive. Jerax back in, the combo. Meatball down onto Chalice, but Chalice is so tanky. Pops the Shiva's gone. He's on top of Jerax. Jerax is gone. Anna as well. Can he really fight back against the Somnus? And X-Nova is so low. As the buyback for Jarex comes in, he's healing Anna back up. That buyback could set them up for the kill on X-Nova. The cold snap down onto the attraction. They find him. Ame, he's out of mana. He's starting to shift into the strength, but he's surrounded. OG, can they find them off? They can. OG are still in the game. Ame buys back immediately. But now it's PSG LGD's turn to be without two of their supports. Seb's going to be back up in 8 seconds.
Oh my god, that buyback from Jarex onto that shrine, being able to save Ana, but Ana also toying with him with that doppel. He sent the illusion. They thought that was the real one. They actually couldn't finish him off, even though they got the thirst vision of him for a second.
With the level 25 talent on the doppelganger, it's
Look at
really
this.
hard to kill him.
Seb,
Yeah.
he's looking straight for the play. Can he find Somnus? He's hunting Somnus. He's there, Seb. He'll see him. Oh! Doesn't get the call, though, and now Seb. He'll be ruptured. They're looking at him, but Anna, he's straight in on top of Somnus. Somnus puts the BKB. Anna give the double gather. They see Cataclysm coming out. And Somnus still alive. Anna will be able to force him away. They've got the hex. They've got the control. They're on top of him. Can they kill him in time? They can. Chalice got for 2 minutes. And Seb, he's finding, looking for Ame. Big Daddy No-Tail gets the penitence out. Only onto the illusion, though. Ame able to waveform up to the high ground. Zame should be fine here.
Thompson's got the ghost. He's got hex soon too.
Oh, the doppelganger Ame's over the trees. Can he hide it?
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for game number 2 between Fnatic and Reality Rift. It is MLP Dota and the lovely John X Fire. John, we're here for game 2, sir, after a very explosive game 1, and I've got to ask you, how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great. That was a very solid game from both teams in game 1. Like, Fnatic were looking pretty down in the rough in the first half. And Reality Rift looked really good. They just couldn't close it out. Fnatic held out really well. Managed to play with their positioning quite well. Somehow getting the split push off with Savage's Ricky working out. And just bought them enough time to get big. So really impressive showing from both sides. Fnatic did come out on top. I'm interested to see what Reality Rift will do now. Like, I wouldn't say the drafts were pretty standard from both sides. It was kind of off the edge, from a bit deviating from their usual kind of draft. So that was interesting to see as well. And I want to see whether or not that pace will keep up in game 2, or if we'll see them, or if we'll see maybe Reality Rift shift back to something that they're more in line with, place with their timing just a bit better, and if that will help them out up against Fnatic.
The thing is, like that last game, they had such a lead on the side of RR, like it looked like they just couldn't lose the game. But that high ground defense from Fnatic, I know it was very, very tough to breach, but RR can't wait up against a team like Fnatic, because that's what they're going to do to you, right? They're going to split push the map, they're going to force you back constantly, they're going to put you in very unorthodox and awkward positions. I think RR, if they end up in that winning position again, which we've seen them do quite a bit throughout the first half of the game, from yesterday and today so far, I think they just can't wait for the high ground. They have to make it happen.
Yeah, they didn't really force it out. They had the Ags, they were feeling hesitant. A little bit of game 1 played into itemization as well. Like, they did not have force staffs early on to help them up against that smoke Savage had. So every single time they were going in without the BKBs, they weren't able to cast their spells, and that cost them a lot, especially on Alacrity. He had no way of getting himself out there, the supports had no way of shoving him out, and that did kind of cost them. So a little bit more awareness of what you need to counteract those kinds of situations are in play as well. I love the ban outs though from Fnatic. A lot of respect for the Clock and the Troll. So Hustler's Clock was just on point. Drew's Troll farmed really great and just took control very fast. Love that Fnatic banned him out.
No, I have to agree with that. That was one of the big things they just couldn't deal with. And of course, later on we saw them kiting around quite nicely, but I don't blame them for not wanting to have to deal with that again. The one thing they probably will have to deal with, however, is the Ember of Alacrity. And of course, it is still a very flexible pick in the Ember. We don't know if Alacrity is going to take that hero yet, but he did do a great job.
5 seconds
Even with that
remaining.
terrible lane matchup of the Monkey King, he really did come back and do a lot of work for his team. So I wouldn't be too shocked if they just throw him back on it.
Yeah, it's a super solid hero for Alacrity. He's played with it really well. I wouldn't be too surprised now though if they decide to switch that out, mainly because we are seeing DJ's Nyx coming out really early in this draft, and it's just a really solid way of stunning the Ember. You know, you walk in, you spike Carapace, the Ember's probably going to get caught out from his, if you time it right, of course, from his shield, or from the Sleight of Fist, or even just the chains. So it's something that you have to be very careful about as the Ember, and you don't really want to space out your damage like that. You really just want to be able to commit all in. So that's gonna kind of put a damper on the pacing of the Ember. I love that pickup from Fnatic. It's a great response. Curious to see how they build off of that. What exactly they want to go into. They just go Monkey. Okay, just giving that solid laning matchup. If it does end up being the mid Ember, I think that's a solid way to go back into.
I don't blame them. It wasn't a very bad performance from Moon. He was still doing plenty of work for his own side. Of course, the mid matchup, he
10
dominated.
seconds remaining.
The mid game, he struggled, but eventually he
5
did come
seconds
back.
remaining.
They may just decide, look, we don't want to have that terrible mid matchup again. Maybe we just run the support Ember. And for now, they will keep it as a flex pick. They go for the AA. I don't really see too much reasoning for the AA, apart from maybe the cold feet with the Wukong's command. You know, you kind of just force him to make a decision as to what he's going to do in that Wukong's. But they do decide that's the hero they want.
I think it's a solid pick. You're going to be mitigating the potential sustain that the Monkey King has. This also is a slight counter pick towards anything like a sneaky Chen coming out here for Fnatic if they wanted to go for some sustain. So you're not going to be, you might not be able to maximize that heal that can come from that hero. So it's a pretty preemptive sort of pick here from Reality Rift. It's super potent as well for kind of the global presence. So if Ember Spirit jumps someone, AA can really just easily follow up once you have that level 6. And that can help RR find that aggression that they want to keep up.
Feeling though, John, they may have gone for the AA because we might see something like an Alchemist coming out, which is, I don't want to, I can't say that 100% yet, but it's one of those supports where it can be very useful up against heroes like the Monkey King, but generally speaking, you tend to want a bit more value than just that. I wonder what they're up to here, Ara. So we are going to have to wait out another ban from Fnatic, and they do actually go ahead and ban out the Riki themselves, interestingly enough, wanting to give something else, and third pick, they go into the Beastmaster.
I like the shakeup from Fnatic. This gives them a lot more push than they had in Game 1. So they were struggling with the objectives very early on. The Beastmaster is going to ensure that that's not going to be an issue. It's really good for the Ember Spirit as well. So you can jump in, get the roar off. Ember Spirit's going to be locked in. I think that's a really solid way of getting that done. Would like to see something else build on top of it. Like, the team fight's looking decent. I think the single target pickoff is where it's at for Fnatic. So you're not seeing a big scary team fight just yet. I'd say it's much more potent for Reality Rift simply because of the AA. And it's kind of Reality Rift's draft to build around bigger engagements now. They know they have a bit of an edge. Yeah, the PL coming out pretty early, but this is great. You don't have the hardest counters here from Fnatic. The Beastmaster can kind of make the lane hard. That's something the PL has to play around. But Nyx doesn't really do too much. Monkey King can perhaps strike down and help you find a real one. Over time, though, the PL will overwhelm that. So it's a pretty decent looking PL game. Fnatic options are starting to be limited in counteracting that. And it's a solid kind of core for Reality Rift.
Do they not still have counter potential though? like you've got Fnatic, they haven't chosen their POS 5 yet. I understand you've got the POS 4 DJ Nyx Assassin, so you're not afraid of anything like an Earthshaker coming back out, but you still have that POS 5 pick, and Jabs could very well try to go for something like that Wyvern again, if he really wanted to try and counter this PL.
I don't think Wyvern's a counter to PL. Like, it can be potent, but Winter's Curse is super hard to land. The Splinter Blast is decent, although you can dodge it around. Like, a lot of what the Wyvern has is something the Phantom Lancer can kind of juke. So it's not counter to that, if that is your worry. The Crystal Maiden's an interesting one, though. Like, it certainly doesn't play too much into the PL still, but this does enable Fnatic to keep a pretty strong laning presence just from the regen. I think whatever you toss with this Crystal Maiden does have some potency when you have some levels in the Nova, maybe a value point in the Frost Bite just to keep that lockdown. So decent looking lanes in terms of control, pretty good single target control so far, and team fights all right. You've got Wukongs, you've got the Roar for a single target, you've got the AoE from Crystal Maiden, which can be potent if your positioning's right. So there is stuff to play around there. I would have to say I am liking Reality Rift's draft just a bit more here.
It's definitely just, I don't know what to expect from the CM. That's where I'm kind of stuck here with with Fnatic. It offers great wave clearing the Crystal Nova, sure. Sort of great. Like, it's pretty average if you wanna call it that. I guess the slow is very nice up against the PL illusions. So there's that. A root for the Ember, kinda nice.
Yeah,
I'm still just very shocked as to why you'd go this route though.
Yeah, it's
to other POS 5s.
It's a Jack kind of support. Like, it doesn't play into too hard of any single draft. I love RR's pick here though. Like, the Tusk AA is so scary once they start rotating around. Even then, having this Tusk means that your Roar is not a guaranteed kill anymore. Like, say you Roar the Ember, if Tusk is around with a, or even without it, you just walk up, snowball up. You don't have burst damage to really melt anyone just yet. Like, you don't really have the best burst here from Fnatic. So the Tusk is going to make this a lot harder to lock down either the Ember or the PL. They're going to have so many opportunities to just get out after the snowball.
That they are. And I do agree with you. That Tusk pick is very, very nice indeed. In fact, you look at every hero on the side of Reality Rift apart from the AA. They are so mobile, and there's so much jukeability, and now adding that snowball on top of all of that, it's like if one of their cooldowns is still there, like the PL can't doppel, or the Ember can't remnant for a second, you just throw them both in the snowball and just buy that time that way. And then, yeah, maybe the Tusk is dead, but overall your cores are still safe. So I have to agree that this draft from RR is very, very nice.
10 seconds.
It doesn't necessarily it doesn't necessarily mean they win the game, but certainly is very, very potent.
Yeah, the key thing now for RR is whatever they pick last, which does look to be the offlane, unless they do something sneaky like have KYXY play the Ember for some reason. That is kind of a possibility for RR if they wanted it, but their offlane pick is going to have to be super active. Like the Ember Spirit, sure, you could argue doesn't need too much farm. There needs to be something to stitch this together. You'd want some team fight. Maybe you can look at something like the Centaur coming out here for RR. Like, the laning is not amazing, and that's something the Monkey King might be able to use, but Stampede is just super useful up against what Fnatic has. And with your own heroes, like the PL is just going to be able to run everyone down, or just really get out safely. So, a lot of value in that pick if they wanted to go for it for Reality Rift. I'm surprised Fnatic banned out the LC. Like, there's no room for it, but if you wanted to play kind of weird lanes and pick the LC for the PL, it would be super hard to lane against for the PL. Helps you target him down. It's still nice single target control, although, again, like a tricore of Monkey, Beast, and LC isn't amazing. But if you play it fast enough, it doesn't need to be amazing. Like, the PL takes time to cook up, and that kind of tricore doesn't. So it would have been something for Fnatic to try out if they wanted, but they're going to have to find a different way to have an answer for Drew's PL.
Yeah, that is true.
Fnatic's
Oh,
turn.
they'll get started with
Ooh.
a profit. Oh, I like it, John. Because you've still got that Tusk who can be the frontliner for the team. You know, yeah, he's a support Tusk, but he can still do exactly what he needs to do. He picks up a bracer or two, and then he's at the front of the team fight every time. Obviously, the tag team with Nature's Prophet and Treants is really good as well. And, you know, last game, John, they had that rat problem.
5
Now you've got an
seconds
Ember, now you've got a Prophet. You've got two people who can go and deal with Savage if he does go and start splitting the map again. Not to mention there's a Monkey King after all, and I love the Storm Spirit though. I do love it.
Yeah. There's no great single target lockdown here from RR. Tusk is probably your best bet, and your Ember Spirit landing his chains, not the most reliable. So there's a lot of leeway here for Moon to dance around, to zip in, to burst down the AA. They have to be really cautious about positioning here from RR. The biggest hero to save isn't going to be your cores. You need your AA to be live to at least launch out the Ice Blast before he falls.
Yeah.
So that's something RR has to be super careful about. They need some way as well to control Moon. You might be looking at maybe KYXY farming an Orchid after his Necrobooks just for that silence. Although Moon can easily counteract with like a Purge. So a lot of ways here for Fnatic to get their draft working out. Like I was initially a bit skeptical, but of course when you see the CM, you tend to see the Storm. That's really one of the only reasons to get that or Zeus. So it's looking a lot more solid for Fnatic, I'd say. As long as they play fast, they can kind of make this work. The biggest issue is giving Drew too much time. Give that PL too much time, you're going to depend on maybe a Storm Ags, really, to help you lock him in. Even then, not reliable. So, gonna have to be a fast game from Fnatic. RR, they need to slow that pace down, give Drew some space. KYXY can kind of get that done with split push. They need to maximize that map split up to give themselves that time.
Gonna be a fun matchup, especially anything like game number 1. I love the back and forth from these two teams, and I love the fact as well that anybody would have looked at this matchup and thought Fnatic's going to easily win. But game 1 was so close. But RR, they could have taken that game had it not been for Ice, had it not been for the split push of Fnatic. This isn't a close matchup, which is really the best part about series like this, where you really don't know who's going to win. And even these drafts, they are very close. It's not like one draft is better than the other. They are both very good at what they're meant to be. It's just a matter of execution. And that makes me very happy.
Yeah, it makes for a very exciting match. Always fun to watch. And we get a little treat in game 2, Mike. Instant pause.
Your favorite.
Southeast Asian Classic.
The classic, it has to happen. If it doesn't happen, the game's essentially not officially started. It's like when you carry the torch of the Olympics across the world or whatever. You know, it's going to happen with SEA games. Somebody's going to disconnect for a little bit.
Yeah, it's tradition. And we are going to take a bit of a peek into our lanes. I liked the starting itemization from KYXY, 4 branches, and a Blightstone. So a lot of right-click damage coming out here. Just think about the possibility. You've got Nuts with his damage amp, with his right-click, and then you've got Hustler with a tag team. My god, that initial wave is not going to be pleasant.
No, and they're going to make sure they capitalize straight off the bat. Hustler, he's going to be there to start this lane off as a tri-lane. Just something you do see quite a lot when there is a Tusk in the game, but it's kind of like you just said, if they find one person with that tag team, they are guaranteed to die. And at least for now, Hustler will reveal himself by taking that outpost. And Fnatic, they understand this. They aren't going to run down bot preemptively. They're going to hang around the east side of the map, the west side of the map. Just try and make sure they don't go near the Tusk. Don't give them that opportunity. Don't give them the opening. And, just secure the top banner runes without giving first blood away too early.
Yeah, just play it a bit safe. You take a look at Ice though. He's kind of set himself up for the Wild Axis start. He just preemptively leveled it up, so he's not going to be playing around with Spores. That might take a little bit of his presence away. He's going to have to continuously expend that mana to try and shove Drew out. That's going to be key. Just slow down the farm for that pesky PL. and the axes can still be potent. It's just we don't tend to see it as often. Only specific situations, like when you're up against Chen, when you're up against Enchantress and those boards are turned against you, that's when you go axes. In this case, nothing really that should dissuade him from that, but we'll see how far Ice does push it.
It is Ice, John. I mean, we briefly doubted the offlane snap by last game, and boy, I mean, how many times have we doubted Ice and his hero picks? It's just no more. We have to just let the man do his work, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Gotta trust.
Still, it is. I guess with the Wild Axes, though, you are going to have a bit of a bonus because you do have the CM. So once that mana aura is up, you do at least have some spam ability. In fact, Ice is really manning up right now. Drew is falling very low, and he'll be forced to salve. Ice pops a mango, wants to cancel the salve preemptively, goes in, commits another Axes. That appears to be the name of the game for Ice. He will be spamming away non-stop.
Yeah, this is hard for Drew, mainly because Nuts is forced to play chase with DJ. If he has Nuts around, Ice would be punished for this, but they have to split the CXP because of these pulls.
They do go for the aura as well, level 2 Jabs. He doesn't actually go for the Crystal Nova, rather getting the Arcane Aura for himself and the rest of the team. And just the Frostbite as well. He just wants to deny these treants off from KYXY and make him think twice about actually spawning them up in the first place. This is actually very smart play from Fnatic as well, because if you do go the treant build, which you almost certainly do, you can't really capitalize as an offlane profit if you're not able to get the treants near the opposing core.
Yeah, we haven't really seen that big damage coming out from the tag team just yet as well.
Ice though. Bot lane does end up going down. The first blood will go over to Drew, and you know, you couldn't ask for a better start if you are RR. That is definitely the best one to give it to. And bot lane as well, Savage, gonna be underneath that tag team, but he just fights back. Boundless Strike to confirm that Jingu mastery. KYXY gonna continue trying to harass him out. Savage will be able to heal himself up with that Jingu mastery anyway. He's not gonna be too upset.
Yeah, and the Reality Rift is not in position to try to do that again. They've just not got the HP, although Nuts gone.
Ice does end up getting a bit of revenge for himself. Wild Axes build being effective so far. He's got the Orb of Venom as well, so he can really get a lot of damage out on this Beastmaster if you're not careful.
Yeah, he's just going for really a bit of a safe farming build, so you're not going to be seeing those boars anytime soon. I think he will just kind of maximize the Axis and the Inner Beast. That can help. Like, this is going to really boost the potential of something like your Monkey when you do stick together, so it's a little bit of attack speed boon for the rest of the team.
You know, the one lane we haven't really talked about at all, the mid lane, Moon, having a very, very nice time so far up against Alacrity at 22-3. Not very often you see that from a Storm up against Ember, but now Hustler comes in with a great shot as well as the tag team. Moon, he's dropping low, but Fairy Fire's up. Can he survive? The Frostbite from Jabs! It'll be enough to allow Moon to walk out of there safely. And Alacrity, he just didn't feel confident going any further. He was way too low in HP. You wouldn't think a CM would be able to do that, but apparently the Frostbite was enough.
Yeah, that's not great news for Reality Rift. They should be able to find a consolation prize. They do.
Okay.
So they still find a kill for themselves, not the one they wanted. And this does waste time for Moon. Like, he's walking back to base, he's gonna TP back in. He still hasn't, you know, given that little kill to Alacrity. And Alacrity so far behind in last hits, he's not really losing. Like, Moon's not losing here. It's just growing even for Alacrity.
Yeah. Bot lane, Hustler, gonna rotate onto Savage, pops the tag team, Mischief Dodge, and the treants blocking Hustler right now. They will eventually get to Savage, but that Jingu Mastery. Savage, though, has been blocked. He does eventually get away thanks to those shards melting. Savage, can you tree dance? You cannot. KYXY has the vision and takes him out. And I love the fact that Savage actually ended up finding the tusk before he does die.
Yeah, just you can't underestimate that.
Ice actually dying to Drew though, and DJ gonna be in big trouble as well. Does turn around for an impale, but a great dodge from Drew, and he will find a double kill on the PL. And again, it's not often you see this out of a PL in the laning stage, but that's already 3 kills going the way of Drew. And in fact, Savage finds KYXY again.
Yeah, just a lot of back and forth, and it is kind of reminiscent of game 1, right? Like, we were seeing RR find these earlier kills. Fnatic eventually did start finding some kills in the laning phase, still not as much.
Moon.
Oh,
It's gonna die. Great setup there from Nuts. Alacrity, he was playing around with those illusions as well, just baiting in that storm, and Alacrity, or rather Moon, just couldn't leave them alone. And I mean, this game is a real back and forth, John. Already 9 kills at almost 6 minutes in.
yeah, just both teams understanding they can't allow each other to find that pacing. They're really important for those first few item spikes, and they've been trying their best to slow that down. I think it's been much harder for Fnatic. Like, Ice's top lane has not gone well. Level 4 on the Beast. Last hits aren't looking too good, 21-3. And Drew's currently at 35-6, so you haven't really slowed that PL down. And that might come back and bite you if you're not careful.
Vortex mid lane, Moon could be in trouble as there was Hustler around the area. He chooses not to try and initiate, and that's because Moon is at that level 6 mark now. There's no real kill potential there. Or XY actually TPing in to steal some neutrals off Moon, but he will happily contest, and with Static Remnant, can easily just steal them away and take some trees for himself. KYXY will eventually walk his way out. And now the eyes are onto Ice's top lane, but DJ is going to be there to block the way. Ice immediately just TPs out, so they won't try and initiate onto DJ as Savage was rotating in. Now the Monkey gets the Primal Spring on. Nuts will be the target, but now Tag Team Snowball is there. Hustler trying to turn it around with the Cold Feet as well. Savage, he is overextended. And Alacrity will take the kill, and he is straight back into that mid lane.
Oh yeah, this is going to be really painful for Fnatic because they TP'd Savage up top. So when he respawns, he's going to have to walk back in a lane. That's going to be a lot of farm. He's missing out on the Monkey, and... Oh, Hustler.
Gonna be in trouble, but Drew's there to fight. In fact, Nuts, he'll join in. Ice. He is in big trouble again. They just continue to take team fights where they're not really at their best. Although Moon now will jump in and does take Drew.
Ooh.
So not too bad of a trade. But Alacrity now has joined in. He picks up jabs, and Moon was very low on mana, but you really had none on Alacrity either. So instead, he'll turn around onto DJ. Spy Carapace and Impale are both available, though he needs to find the stun and the angle. DJ gonna get snowballed up. Alacrity now with a double Savage. This is dangerous, but he does find Nuts. And that'll be it for RR. They back off.
Yeah, who needs to farm when all you want to do is fight? Like, all the pause ones up top, trying to find those kills, counter kills. This does give a little bit more space to RR. KYXY managed to maximize that by getting a pretty good amount of damage onto that tier 1 bot. But here comes the lane swap. Ice is down bot instead. A much better time for him. Wild Axe is placed nicely into the Nature's Prophet, so there's a little bit more for him to find in the bot lane.
Does he though? Hustler's there. And, well, it looks like he's going to be within safety for now, but he is running up the lane. KYXY also there just farming up in the Prophet. They'll bring 2 more. Drew will even join in on the PL. That's a real lane swap, and now Hustler going to show himself. Ice has Roar, but he tries to get it off in time. There was no point anyway. He wouldn't have survived. Maybe he would have set up for Moon on the Storm, who is now here. And luckily doesn't get scouted by the trees of KYXY. They are really looking in that tree line, making sure nobody's hiding. You know what? Even Moon just sitting here not farming is still very good news for RR, as they will find the tier 1 anyway. And now Drew will just keep farming. He'll have Hustle there just in case Moon wants to try and jump in. And he's thinking about it. Moon, are you really going to do it? He will not. He'll go back into the bot lane and just farm up a bit.
Yeah, this is a really good chance for Fnatic to maybe jump Nuts. They're not quite committing, so our AA does get a little bit more time to himself to just find some EXP. They do go now, so...
Yeah. Cold Feet will be there onto Savage, and that may just freeze him up. He does. Snowball comes in. Hustler, do you really find a trade? Not quite. Savage turns into a tree, and that'll be enough. They don't even bother. I mean, there was 3 heroes there. They would have just spent more kills over to Savage. Better off they just get out of there.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Fnatic wastes a lot of time to just find the AA. Not the most worthwhile here to take out. They don't even manage to get too much damage on tier 1, and Alacrity finds DJ.
With a double damage room, by the way. DJ uses Vendetta, and that'll be enough. Ice was around the corner, and definitely don't want to be at risk of getting roared up. But you can definitely just continue to force Ice out of the lane, and in fact, Ice Blast is going to fly through. That'll actually connect, so Alacrity did have a chance, but he'd rather not risk it, because top lane, there's a lot of action going on. Moon, completely out of mana now as he zips forward, but that'll be enough for him to get out of there. Now Hustle's going to be in trouble thanks to Savage. In fact, Nuts will also go down. A quick priority switch on the target. Savage gets a double.
Yeah, good pickups for him. Those are just supports though. And RR is making use of the space quite nicely. Drew is just farming bots safely. He's working towards his defusal, which is shaping up to be fairly quick. And Alacrity's given a lot of space down mid.
Radiant's middle tower is
What finding a lot more off the map in Alacrity?
Hey, almost finds Ice, not quite. We'll just TP out of there.
Dire's top tower is
Savage
under attack.
edging closer and closer to that Radiance now.
Radiant's
Needs about
middle tower is under
1.5k just about to get the Sacred Relic. That Radiance is going to be very, very painful. Like, you've got this PL who already hates going up against the Radiance, and it doesn't make it any easier for the rest of your team either.
Radiant's bottom
That is
tower
yeah.
under
going to be very decently timed. I mean, it's a Monkey King after all.
attack.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty darn fast for Savage. They do finally find that tier 1, although Alacrity's here.
He wants to go after Jabs. Snowball. Jabs will make his snowman. He understands he's going to die. The rest of his team just gets out of there, though. Like, that was a lot of rotations for 1 pos 5.
Yeah,
In all fairness,
but
so they are going to try and force a tier 1.
it's a lot more objectives for RR. They've already taken that mid-tier 1. They're going to be cleaning up the last tier 1 now from Fnatic, so they've secured themselves a bit of a map control advantage. Like, they've certainly got a lot more room to farm safely, and Fnatic has to be a little bit cautious. Like, they've started to pull back a bit. They've given Moon some space to farm up. He's saving up for his Kaya. Not too far. Just about 400 gold, so after that, you might see a little bit more activity from the Storm. Ice as well does have his level 1 Necrobuck, so has a lot more presence, a lot more stats, and can get something done, although Nuts.
Oh, they are going to fight the triangle. Nuts gets the Ice Blast off with the Balance Strike will secure the kill, but Alacrity, he wants Moon, and he does get it. That is a great trade if Moon does not die, or rather Alacrity does not die right now. Snowball going to come in. They'll find the Nyx Assassin. Alacrity, he has no remnants, however. There's no way out of this situation, or is there? Walrus Punch cancels off the CM ultimate, but they do find the kill, and now Hustler will also die. And I don't mean to be that guy, John, but it's a triple kill to 23 Savage, who now is about 100 gold off that Sacred Relic.
Yeah, that's a lot to give away. Like, those kills were nice. You managed to find Moon. That's great. You're feeding into a bigger problem. Savage is going to be very hard to control up. It's going to be hard to face up against that damage. That's going to be the key thing. And RR are being hyper aggressive. They need a bit more beyond just 2 heroes. Like, maybe if they had KYXY around, they might have been able to pump a little bit more damage out, maybe sustain themselves with a mech, but they were kind of aggressive with just 2, and that's super risky at this point. Right by that triangle, there are tier 2s to TP2. Not the best spot, and RR are kind of just buying time for Drew. I think that's really what they want, but you can't bleed those kills to Savage.
DJ gonna get caught out bot lane. A nice little pickup here for RR. I mean, at the very least, like, they have bought so much space that Drew is pretty much almost at the defusal Yasha. So, in fact, he buys out the Yasha now. But I do agree, like, that Radiance is going to be a big problem on Savage. Whether it pays off or not later on, that's a different story entirely, but he's going to have the full Radiance up in maybe 30 seconds. It's very, very, very nice timing for a Monkey King, of all things. So,
Yeah, one thing to look out for is KYXY has queued up the Ags on the we saw Ice do this yesterday. It did pay off in that game one, so this could help them really get a push out. Wave clear is not the strongest point of these heroes. They can kind of do it. The supports certainly can't, so at least you are going to make life a lot harder for the supports up against those Megatreants.
That is true. It's like DJ's trying to set up here onto Drew down at bot lane. Vendetta gonna be there. Drew has already had some HP missing, but looks like they had a sentry ward up on the high ground anyway, so they do not initiate on the PL. There's that Radiance. Now gonna be up and running on Savage. You'd make the argument they probably should look to make a play right now.
Ice.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. Ice gets caught out, and maybe he finds nuts that he does. It's not enough to kill the hero off, John. You need to kill the beasts, and in fact, are they going to try and fight off this? They have so much vision right now thanks to those units. They jump in with the Balance Strike, Husky's going to die, and now they found the Ember. And again, of all people, it's going all the Savage.
He's 11-2 at 16 minutes in. That's a lot of kills on the Monkey end. They need to kill him. They need to lock Savage in, burst him down. Look, he went for Radiance. He has no stats. He has nothing to pad himself out. He is super squishy. Hunt Savage down. But we saw them have issues with Monkey King last time as well, so it might be a continued issue here for Reality Rift if they don't hunt him down.
I'd have to agree. I mean, Drew is still trying to go for a Sergeant Yasha right now, but it's not really his job.
No.
Problem is, it's just, yeah, they haven't grouped up and made that play. They've just been playing essentially 4 Protect 1, just putting all their trust into the PL. And we still, you know, you ask the question, is that going to be enough later on? You know, if Savage continues to farm at this pace, is it really going to be enough that it's a PL versus MK matchup? Well, we'll hold that thought for a second. Bot lane, KYXY will die, but now Alacrity will jump in. DJ dies, and now Moon trying to TP away, and he does make it. So a 1-for-1 trade, but Fnatic certainly finding the better trade in all this. And to make matters even better, they're in position to push a tier 2 top tower.
Yeah, and this is the beauty of the Ice Beastmaster instead. They can certainly put the damage on those towers. An issue they were having in game 1 that is fixed here. RR doesn't look like they want to defend. I mean, they could, but the push is just super fast. Like I think they'd rather hunt. And it would be nice to find a few more kills. Like, you would want to stop Moon from getting way too big. He's saving up for a BKB. Once that's up, it's going to be hard to hold him down.
They use the Sleight of Fist on Alacrity, but that's not the initiation you want. They are freely allowing Savage to just go ahead and take that top tier 2 tower out. The Ice Blast will come through, but that's probably not going to force him back. And well, he found the tier 2 tower, so now he definitely will back. Meanwhile, Jab's just casually running through the mid lane on the Dire's side, placing a very, very deep ward. Invis runs out, but he's got a TP available if he needs it. They are still very confident in their ability to just keep farming RR.
Yeah, I mean, look, they feel like the PL can scale better late. I wouldn't disagree. I think it's a lot more potent. The Monkey has a lot of ways to be mitigated, but they don't have a big advantage over the Monkey right now. Like, it's a very even net worth trade, and you are actually a bit behind in your 2 other cores, so that is a point of concern. Oh,
his chance. Ice still going to be in big trouble though. Sprouted up by KYXY, and Alacrity picks up the kill once again on the Ember. So they do end up getting that. And poor old Nuts is still being chased by those units.
Oh man.
He should be fine. Alacrity is going to be there to help him out. Nuts will eventually just, yeah, he'll be... Oh, good. Tried to go for the zip TP, but barely missed out on Nuts. We call that one the drive-by, John. It, sometimes you get it, sometimes you miss. Nice balance strike from Savage onto KYXY, cancelling off the TP just for a second. Eventually he can just recast, and they do go for the Roshan play. And there will be absolutely zero kind of counter potential here from Fnatic. They just don't have any vision and they don't feel confident.
Yeah, a nice first rush going the way of RR. That's going to help them play a bit more forward. Drew's going to have a lot more leeway to perhaps actually join these fights now. So he's in a prime position to help his team out. One thing for RR though is that I don't think we've seen KYXY contribute too much. Like, he split pushed the bot lane, but that was the most impact he's had. I think he needs to make something happen with the Ags, either push harder or make use of those treants to mega push a lane. That's really going to be key, because otherwise this investment into the NP, who has eaten quite a fair bit of space as well, if he doesn't maximize that, then this will just kind of feed into Savage at some point. You know, his damage is just going to melt those big treants if you give him enough time.
I don't know what you're talking about, John. This is what every MP does in my pubs. Just farms across the map constantly. He's doing his job, right? This is what they do. The DJ mid lane might find Alacrity. Impale not going to be there. DJ, but back, never mind. Aurora's there. Alacrity just went back to them. So,
yeah, a really big pick off there for Fnatic. The hesitation looked a bit bad, but they were ready. They knew where the Remnant was. They kill him off, and they might find more if they're not careful, but doesn't look to be the case. You've got the Ags and KYXY. So I guess the mega push can start. Like, they can cause issues. You can, I guess, start to make that happen every time your rat is up.
Savage trying to go for a cheeky Ice Blast dodge with Mischief, but doesn't get the timing right. That Ice Blast actually did stop this T1 bot tower push that was happening, but now Fnatic, well, Moon wanted that haste trim, but DJ takes it off him. So Moon having to fight with his own team now to get power runes, which is never nice.
Yeah, it's not the spot you want to be in, but I guess they were scared that maybe the real PL was the one trying to pick it up, so just secure it instead. You have a nice fast BKB on Moon, so this makes it super hard to actually face up against him. Don't think you really want to zip in next to a PL though. If you got enough right clicks, your mana would just be gone.
I think he's trying to get through the illusions, because they had the, well, Ice was in fact at top. You really do have to rely on that raw to secure that PL kill, but then again, you want Alacrity with that as well. And speaking of Alacrity, Savage, man fighting by himself right now. He does drop the Wukong's command. Alacrity, though, is going to have help. Hustler comes in. Now Drew's there. And you just gave a godlike streak over to KYXY on the Prophet. I mean, sure, they nerf the gold you get. I still wouldn't be doing that. However, DJ ends up finding Alacrity on the Ember, so he evens it out a little bit.
Yeah, it's a much bigger win for RR in the end. Like, that kill on Savage was definitely what we needed. We've been talking about finding that monkey for the past 5 to 7 minutes now. They do finally get it done. And it goes on to, well, I want to say not the most pivotal target. KYXY gets majority of that gold, but he's building up. He's going to go for the Maelstrom. He's going to be able to shove out the waves by himself even more. And they find Ice as well.
Yeah, he's going to TP. Snowball.
Oh,
make it.
No.
Yeah, you got to cast it quick.
Oh, nuts
Still
again.
Nuts. Run, nuts. It's not over yet. So, oh, the courier.
No!
Oh, there goes the
No!
courier. Mithril Hammer, Iron Talon. KYXY not watching his back. Nobody's safe out here.
No, that he has a javelin as well, so that's the full Maelstrom, delayed by 2.5 minutes now. Not a good thing for Reality Rift.
No, it is not. This could be even worse as well. DJ does get spotted. Nice by Carapace, however, with the Impale now, and Savage comes in. Balance Strike as well. Can the Ember get out? Alacrity, he may barely get away though. No! The Remnant was just too slow, but now DJ may die for the cause, and yeah, he does. Drew does go down, and Jabs, he jumps in with the CM ultimate, just letting it go. Now the Roar comes in. They found one in the form of Hustler, but Ice with the Roar just wasn't enough. This PL is becoming really huge, but here comes Savage. Just jumping through the trees. He will not go in.
Yeah, it's overall, a win for RR in the end. Like, again, it does cost you Alacrity. These deaths on the Ember are starting to be a bit costly. You want him to have his BKB up and running ASAP. Alacrity is probably your best initiation in this case. No one else really can start these fights as well. Maybe once you have the blink on Tusk Moon.
Yeah, it's playing with fire there. Just wanted to get rid of those illusions and slow things down. On the brighter side, at least the Aegis does expire on Drew, so you won't have that problem. But RR have almost found themselves in the same position as they did in game 1, though. Impel is there from DJ. Savage. Just gonna Primal Spring those illusions, get rid of them. Though Alacrity does get a nice chains off on Ice Ice Ice. DJ, great spike. Carapace with the Impale, now the Wukong's command. Savage found the strike as well. Alacrity, he's gonna die. What a play from DJ, and now they found Drew. They have the Roar available on Ice Ice Ice. They just need to find the right one. Moon jumps in after Hustler. That was the Roar. It was on an illusion though, but what an Impale. Jabs, or rather, DJ again on the Nyx Assassin. Just doing so much work, and now Moon, who do you go for? They still haven't killed Drew. They will just get out of there. Ice 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 even force-staffing himself out. And everyone will be okay, apart from maybe DJ, but no, he'll be fine. He'll run out of the Sentry Ward range. And unfortunately, John, Fnatic, they did end up not connecting the Roar on the real PL, and that kind of cost them. It knocked them down to the low ground.
Yeah, it's really tricky to get that lockdown onto Drew. And that's something that's just going to be worse and worse as this game goes on. You are still happier with that trade from Fnatic. Like, you did find Alacrity. It's becoming evident that our Ember Spirit is a bit too squishy. So the BKB is going to be so important. He's not getting any closer from these stats. They need to give some time to Alacrity to build into that. Whereas Drew, I think, is pretty set. Like, Satanic's a pretty good spot. Like, Abyssal next for the added control, and then you'd say you're pretty satisfied with where he's at as the PL. Like, you could replace the Wraith Band still, or the stick, whichever one he swaps out, but there's not going to be too much more to grow on the PL, and so much more room for the Ember. So you start to look at Alacrity having to play some catch up here. So far behind in that for it, behind Ice 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 even. So Moon has a fantastic lead over that Ember Spirit, and that's not the spot where you want to be in. Again, RR needs Alacrity to be kind of a frontliner, because you don't have anyone else. You can't toss KYXY in, not with his item build. He can't just stand there and fight. You would like, perhaps, Hustler to get in, but he needs the BKB. Like, he has the blink, so I guess you do have that. Like, it's going to be important for him to kind of isolate the big target they want, which should be the Monkey. Like, Savage should be the priority. If not Savage, then Moon. These are the guys that's causing issues right now for RR.
That is very, very true. Of course, out all goes out. The go-ahead is there. Savage experiencing a bit of lag issues, but the over now. Jabs may get caught out here by Drew, but it's to be expected as a CM. You know you're gonna die like this. It's fine. Another kill going to the KYXY Nature's Prophet. Still a 1k net worth lead for RR. Still just barely ahead.
Yeah, it's really even overall. Like, a lot of that farm is riding onto Drew. So they've put all their eggs in one basket. They're relying on the PL to kind of carry them through. Again, I would like to see a bit more farm distribution here from RR. You need Alacrity to be up and running. He's just not quite there yet.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
He was split pushing the bot lane a little bit, but ends up backing up. No need to risk anything. In fact, he finds a nice little spider legs there. Hustler will take it for himself. You do have the full basher up now, though, on Drew. It is on the way, and Moon, again, just delaying things for his team. Savage starting to approach the side of RR. Keeping vision on this dire side, trying to find a nice target to go after, and Well, DJ of all people is up at the top lane right now on the Nyx Assassin. Just, I suppose split pushing and just making it hard again for RR to feel comfortable on this side of the map. But again, you do have the Prophet there who can just TP, push it back out, and just TP back in. It's pretty much exactly what he does.
Yeah, you've got the BKB up now on KYXY, so it's going to be easier for him to slip out of really aggressive pushes. That's something to watch out for from RR. It gives him a lot more leeway in trying to find objectives. The BKB flying out here for Ice does kind of allow him to get a little bit more done. Was that BKB or was I missing something? Someone got... Oh, was it Moon? No, the Moon had a while ago. I don't know. I must be seeing things.
Ice getting diffused up. Hustler gets the shards off. Now the Ice Blast as well. Poor old Ice can't catch a break. Impale there from DJ, but it does not help. But still, they have the right Drew. Although Drew is just jumping even deeper in. Wukong's command is going to be there from Savage. It's a very nice one. But again, how do you get the real PL? Drew is still very, very healthy. They'll lose DJ on the Nyx Assassin. And more illusions just flying in, waiting for that Wukong's command to be over, and now it is. They get the chains off. The Monkey Savage, he will mantra up. Now jumping back into PL. In trouble, but a great snowball save from Hustler. Back in. Drew, Doppel is there. Can they find the right one? Yeah, they can. Savage, he just blows everything up in front of him. They also end up getting nuts, and Alacrity is the only one that was able to TP away in time. But a very close call for the side of Fnatic. Just a great, I believe it was a buyback on Moon. In fact, he just respawned. And it was enough to actually jump back in there and help out.
Yeah, that's going to cost RR a lot, and this is almost reminiscent of game one, right? RR has a nice early lead. They go into the high ground. They kind of blow the fight a bit, although this time around it goes well for the first half. But they lose out in the end. They don't find the objectives, and it's straight to the Roche pit for Fnatic. They've got all the opportunity in the world to get that objective out. They are going to be scouted out by NP Treants. They're not in a position to really contest, though, unless you see Alacrity be really brave.
Nice Ice Blast. Alacrity could definitely be brave right now. So they are so darn low. KYXY, he's thinking about TPing in.
Oh no. Oh.
He's just baiting them. But for what? Oh, Alacrity, he does run in, but Ice, he gets the roar off on the follow-up from the Impale. Now the Vortex is there. That's an Ags Vortex on Moon. Hustler snowballing away, but really doesn't get anywhere, and he's going to die as well. And it's not good news if you are RR. In fact, Nuts also getting caught out just on the tail end, and Savage feels much better now.
It's the same progress from game one, Mike. It was a slight lead for RR, 1k. It's now 3-4k for Fnatic. It feels like the pace has not changed, and RR needs to find a solution for this. It's off the back of Savage's Monkey this time around, and of course a really good timing on the Ags from Moon, but the controls there, the team fight's looking scarier. RR, they need to find a solution. They maybe get harder split push from KYXY. It's not like he hasn't been doing that. It just doesn't feel like it's bought them enough space.
It hasn't. We could definitely agree on that. I mean, the proof is in the pudding right now. We'll see what they can do to try and turn this around again. But now suddenly a 6k net worth lead, and this is literally a mirror matchup of what happened last game.
Yeah.
You look at that net worth graph. Quite literally, it's really, really bad news for RR.
Ooh, they need to recoup. They need to get back in. The Abyssal's gonna help Drew massively. No BKB is gonna cost him. With the Ags on the Storm, it is a lot easier to isolate the real PL. And that just makes it so hard, especially since you have the Mindbreaker as well on the Storm. So you can just go in, silence up the PL. He doesn't have a Manta to diffuse, to purge that off himself. There's no real defensive items on Drew, actually. So he's just super vulnerable once you find him.
I mean, it's really only the Satanic. And even then, it's... See Moon with the Vortex right now. That's a lot of gold, Moon. Just, you get caught out, you get perma-stunned, and then suddenly you're just dead. No Satanic necessary. Just die. You'd like to see something like a BKB, but it's not really a suitable item on PL.
No.
He's going for the butterfly after the Abyssal, but
Yeah. It's not fast. Another big issue is that I've been harping about Alacrity for a while, but it's really just not good. He's at 9.7k net worth. We're at 34 to 5 minutes in. The Ember needs to be doing a lot more now. And he's not. Like, he just gets stunned up, he gets picked off, and that's it. He's not able to get that leeway to dance around in this game, and oh, KYXY is caught out.
yeah, he is. Vortex gonna come out. Roar is there from Ice Ice Ice. No games from Fnatic. It's all seriousness right now, and they find another kill, and even Ice Ice Ice, John, he's going for that Aghanim Scepter build as well.
Dire's bottom
Oh.
tower
So
is
the
under
Wild
attack.
Axis spam, and
Ooh.
Savage has a DC again.
Yeah. Bit awkward. He is just about to... They did just find Nuts, and they might be able to maybe isolate through, but this is going to give RR time to react. It's still a kill, it's a kill. Like, if they can clean up Nuts, it makes it that much harder for RR to defend the high ground. They need the blast to land. They need Nuts to land that blast, and he does have buyback. They're going to have to expend that if he does fall here. And I know, RR needs to be super cautious in how they respond to this fight. They should just save it for the high ground. Pull back. You're gonna lose Nuts. Just don't lose anyone else.
Savage reconnects, disconnects again.
Nobody wins.
Hopefully his issues can be sorted ASAP.
Numbers have accomplished what strategy alone could.
Drew, so much pressure on the man on that PO, and you talked about it so many times now, but Alacrity just hasn't had any time to farm. Who knows what he could have done if that BKB was up? So we may never find out. He has to fight again. He's got no choice.
Yeah.
Fnatic are just going to force this right now. And speaking of Fnatic, Savage, he will reconnect. See if he's ready to go this time. He says, yes, I'm ready.
No? Oh,
Goes the high. No, he's here.
Yeah.
He's ready.
Nuts.
Yeah, Nuts gets
Yeah,
jumped
there
on
you go.
immediately. He is dead. Really had no way out of that.
Yeah. And RR plays it safe. Of course, they pull back. They should wait for KYXY to be back up. You need all the tools you can get here. At least, if not, then you can toss the NP to split push. You've always got that option here. Although none of the waves are particularly shoved in for RR, so it's going to be hard.
Not to mention he's dead right now. So
Yeah.
he can't do anything right now, John. He's man's not alive. But well, they're going to try and delay things out a little bit. In all fairness, Fnatic have chosen the hardest lane to try and push in. So they are feeling confident enough to try and make this happen with that Aegis on Savage. Drew will continue to just throw his illusions onto that Monkey King and just drain all the mana. In fact, Ice Blast now going to come in with the chains, and that'll be the Aegis. But DJ jumps in with the Impale and the Vortex from Moon, but there's no follow-up. Savage now needs to get out of there. He pops the Manta, but there's the chains. Now using the BKB, will turn around for a stun, but that'll be it. They'll have to leave the building.
Yeah, the safer play for Fnatic. They want to be cautious. You do see the respawn on KYXY, so just a little bit more damage coming out from RR, and this should give RR some time to try to recoup, shove out their lanes. Need to at least get one lane in a position where you can leverage that NP. So that's going to be a really important part of their high ground defense. Just have a backup plan for the split. And it should be fairly easy to get done with these heroes. You've got the Scotty up now though on Savage, so that makes it so much harder for Drew to actually man fight. Like, he's relying on the Satanic to keep him in these fights, and with Scotty around, you're probably not going to be getting enough from the Satanic in this case.
DJ again gonna scout out Drew. He does jump in with the Abyssal straight off the Moon, but there's a nice Impale coming out. Now the Shiver's gone. He goes into the back lines, but who are you aiming, Moon? He does go after Nuts. Now the rush forward, there was a roar in the back lines, the CM will die. They are trying to go after the Tusk, and they do get Hustler. Still Savage down the middle of everyone, just with that Wukong's command. KYXY trying to TP out of there. He's gonna die. Now Ice will also be traded, and it'll be Drew versus Savage. Meanwhile, Moon goes on to Alacrity, kills off his spirit brother. It is Drew up against the wall, and it doesn't look great. Primal Spring will be there. DJ with the Impales. He might find Moon, but he probably won't. Moon is out of mana, which means Drew really has no damage. And so Drew needs to run out of there. But DJ has so much control with the Storm, although Impale does not connect.
Tower is under attack.
Gets the Urn off. Gonna be a Doppel. Savage holding that Boundless Strike. Moon will slow him down. Primal Spring will not connect, but now the Boundless does Drew. He was trying to juke them out, but it does not pan out in their favor. And now Fnatic will look to rush down mid.
Yeah, no buyback on Drew. Gonna be really costly for RR in this defense. I have to say, that was some pretty sick courier micro from Ice. He's giving them just a little bit more vision in that chase up the ramp towards the end. So just a little bit more value to secure that kill, and high ground now for Fnatic.
Why not? Impale doesn't connect from DJ. Savage just hitting like a truck. And I mean, there is going to be a respawn of Alacrity soon, and KYXY is going to be back up, so you can't really secure tower, but they do force a repair kit usage. And instead Savage, he'll go up top, try to get this tier 3 instead, but there'll be another repair kit coming out from Nuts. What a great neutral item.
Yeah, it's just the best you could ever ask for. Fun to play against. Look at that.
It is.
Outstanding.
It's good, isn't it?
33 HP per second on the tower for God knows how long. With bonus armor. Great. Fantastic.
Thank you, Mr. Ice Frog. So, it does give them time, though, to go for a Roshan now. Like, we don't know when the Roshan's spawning, but we will know in about 15 seconds. So there's no real rush here from Fnatic. Like, sure, you don't really want to take this too late, because you might give enough space for Alacrity to get some more items up and actually be a hero in this game. But ultimately, Fnatic, with this kind of lead, like, they've got an 18k net worth advantage. I don't think they're too afraid of what RR can bring out now.
Nah. They've certainly got a lot more to play with. I think RR, I mean, there is room to grow. It's just that that's not really on Drew. Like, he's got one slot beyond just the boots. So he's, again, opting for the butterfly, which can kind of help. Like, the Monkey King's not ready for that. You don't have anything like the MKB coming out in Savage, so he's not going to be able to deal with that if it does come out. But the bigger thing is, you need Alacrity to grow. I keep saying this. I've been saying this for like 10 to 15 minutes now, but Alacrity just, he starts to be a very big factor for RR, and it's still not there. BKB Desolator at 40 minutes in. That's still not enough.
It is tough, though. Like, he had a tough lane, and then he, you know, obviously had a bad late game, and now Moon just jumping into Drew. He knows he can't solo kill him, but he'll threaten with presence. In fact, Japs will now show himself with the Crystal Nova. Shiva's Guard pop. Ice. Just throwing out the Wild Axes, but one thing you do have to be wary of is there is now a sight device up on Ice. He also has that blink. So, assuming he finds the right PL, Drew is 100% dead.
Yeah, they've got to be on point with the chain stuns though. Like 25 talent is up for Drew, so the doppelganger cooldown is super low.
Oh, Bit Moon. He's actually already very low, but you just have no follow-up damage. They do force out the last repair kit usage on that tier 3 tower. It was so close to going down, and I don't think Fnatic are going to mind too much again. They're just wasting all the resources of RR for now, and eventually they'll come in, you know, for the final cut. In fact, speaking of final, the Roshan is going to be up in 7 seconds. So they're definitely going to try and capitalize on that first.
Yeah, you're not going to have vision for that from RR. I guess you could try talking the Treants out. They do smoke up. They want to try to find something.
Well, they've got the Roshan timing right, that's for sure. They could snake the Roshan, be pretty nice. They know they have to take the Roshan fight if it does come around. still not going to be an easy smoke to Moon.
Oh.
He gets caught out. There is going to be a Warrior's Punch, but where's your lockdown? They rush you with the Abyssal. They take Moon out. He zipped in for the Power Rune. That was actually a lot of gold, but it went on to KYXY again. I don't think you want the gold on the tree right now, but unfortunately that's where it goes.
Yeah, not the best in terms of distributing that farm, but this does mean Fnatic is probably not going to go for the rush. It's not going to be the safest for them. They rely on the Storm to help them isolate Drew. So they do know what's happening though.
Whoops. That out of there. You might have to buy back though, right? Like you can't really allow this to go. You can allow it, but you don't really want to if you're Fnatic.
Yeah.
Ice just going to keep vision. They'll hold on to the buyback. They'll see if they can maybe steal it another way. Maybe just wait till the last few seconds. In fact, they're just going to delay things out. There is going to be GG, but he's been caught. But now we're all coming out. Who have they caught? It is going to be KYXY. So the Nature's Prophet is down, and now the buyback is there from the Storm. And that'll stop the Roshan in its tracks. RR have to actually let it go down, I think, to Fnatic now. They don't have a buyback on the Prophet.
Oh, Moon?
In fact, Moon just jumps in. Snowball, though, is there. Moon, he'll be fine. He BKB's up. Now the team ultimate, they're catching everyone. Alacrity, he goes down with Nuts. Now Hustler, he's been caught out as well on the task. Buyback's flying out. Every single person buys back, but there's a Wukong's command that's going to be there from Savage. He's straight onto Alacrity. He's just trying to run away peacefully. KYXY now as well, just kiting around, trying his best. DJ getting jumped, but they found the dieback on Alacrity. That is super bad news. Now they are trying to fight back, although can they find someone? They do get Savage. The Monkey King is out, but Hustler dies. Now Jab's also going down. They are sort of trading here, RR. But Savage, he has brought back again. Straight into that Roshan pit. It's a 4v3 situation. No buybacks left on any of the cores that are dead. They are going to fight to the death over this. Drew, he'll run in straight onto Moon. In fact, never mind, he wants Savage, but there's the Vortex coming out. They got the PO. He'll doppel, just juking them out as much as possible. Now KYXY trying to go into jabs. They just secure the easy kill, but the side device. KYXY, he'll die back on the Nature's Prophet. It is once again Drew up against the world. And I think Drew just has to leave. And the Roshan will go to the way of Fnatic.
Yeah, that's the Ags upgrade dropping as well. So you've got the Monkey Ags in play. You've got the Aegis and Cheese, of course, and it's now really going to be so hard for RR to hold off this big push that's going to be flying in. Drew has to play perfectly, and he's queuing up a Divine, which is, yeah, you'd want it at this point. Can they stall long enough until that's up? I'm not sure. Like you will have Alacrity in like half a minute, I guess.
He just bought the Butterfly. Which is interesting, because you'd maybe think the gold was better spent at the Divine, but he wouldn't have been able to buy it out anyway. So he goes for the next best thing. It'll be one Rex going down at least. They have a 30k net worth lead on the side of Fnatic. It is just huge. You look at Savage's farm and you couldn't have asked for much more. He's queuing up a Satanic now. I don't believe they'll be able to find Megas, but they're trying. Savage, he's taken the bot racks. Just with those illusions. Does have the Aghanim's Blessing as well, so you get those that added value, but now the jump in. Savage, he doesn't have buyback available. Vortex is there from Moon, and now the Roar comes in, but what a snowball. Hustler saves the day for now. Savage is still low. He's trying to fight back, but there's the Aegis. Now Moon on the Storm will also lose his life. That is a dieback on the Storm Spirit, but Savage pops the Wukong's command once again. He protects himself, but he can't find a kill, or maybe Hustler does go down to the axes of Ice. Now DJ jumping into the back, trying to find a target. They won't find anybody, but maybe they'll get lucky and finish off at least this Rax. And they will. The Rax will go down. That'll leave one Rax left, and that's up at the top lane. A very, very close call there for the side of RR. Had they found Savage a second time, you never know where this game could have gone, but only finding Moon is not going to be enough.
Yeah, not quite, but that does bite him some time. Do you look at Savage though, Mike? I believe I saw him queue up a Divine.
Uh-oh.
Did he not? Yeah, it's queued up. So there you go. The vine on the monkey.
Yeah,
that is hard.
Savage is the kind of guy that buys a divine when your team needs it. Like, he'll just buy it against you. It's like, how dare you even think about buying a divine against me? I'll get one first. It's a challenge for Savage. It's
Yeah, now the stakes are up. If Savage dies, well, I mean, he doesn't have buyback anyway, so I guess there's no real point. Like, if Savage dies, then that could potentially be it anyway. But man, look at that damage.
yeah, someone needs to tell
From that
Savage
boundless.
He doesn't need to spend his gold just because he has it. You know, you're 6 sorted already. Just save the gold. Invest it, Savage. Put it in the bank. You don't need to buy that flashy new car, you know?
Radiant's top tower is under
Oh boy. Yeah, those Ags monkeys must hit pretty darn well. Although, do they actually benefit from direct ad damage? I forget.
You need to tell me, John. I do not play Monkey King. Nor will I ever. Oh, nice. Gets a Hex off. That is true. He also roars, but there will be a 4-star to save. And if you're RR, you know the Scythe device. Well, it's going to be off cooldown in 5 seconds, but you know the roar's on cooldown. Maybe this is your chance to try and make a play.
Yeah, it's probably one of your best openings because they have really started to depend on Ice's control to give them that edge. It's about the Storm and it's about the Beastmaster's control. Things to watch out for. You still have Moon's Vortex though, so that's just really scary. A lot of these fights for Fnatic have built off the back of Moon, and he's still up. He doesn't have too much mana, but if he catches Drew out, man, you're just so scared for this PL.
Smoked up though. It's the other question as well though, like Drew is so close to that Divine Rapier himself. Mid lane, KYXY is being caught out. They must not believe it's the right one, but no, it was. The BKB gets it away, and now DJ takes the kill with the Vendetta damage. Alacrity just panicking and using Dust. Just
Radiant's middle
DJ wasn't even invis. Now, on to the mid lane. KYXY, he does not have buyback. 2.5 minutes cooldown for that. It's bad.
Hard defense. Yeah.
It is bad news.
Numbers disadvantage, and you're not going to have something to force them back, but like a split push. Although, to be fair, we haven't really seen that. And Savage goes top. Racks are open.
Yeah, you just take the Megas, right? There's no need to risk. He bought a Divine, so now he's put himself in this position where he can't risk anything. And so he gets a Divine, he gets the Megas, he backs out. There we go. Mind you, this is going to buy time for Drew to get that full Divine Rapier up now. In fact, I believe he has enough gold.
Yeah, that should be it. And he can just go finish it up. He's probably going to have to toss his treads out. Like, he's a very speedy PL as is. So that could make the difference. I just feel like going all in here without any defensive items is a bit scary. Like, sure, the BKB is kind of counteracted by Roar anyway, but if the Roar is gone and you hold on to BKB and you pop it after, there's so much space for Drew to just get stuff done.
Oh, it is a Divine up, but there is going to be a Roar coming out, and they do find Nuts. Now the Vortex in the back lines, they find both of them. Here comes Drew, jumping straight in onto Moon. Can he zip out? He's constantly getting bashed, but he does manage to get away, and now it's Divine versus Divine. Savage says, man up. Jabs jumps in. CM ultimate, they found Alacrity. There are no buybacks left. This is looking really bad. Drew will try and man fight one more time. Savage is going down, but Ice picks up a triple kill, and that'll be GG. They haven't called it, but they've only got one left, and there we have it. The GG's been called, and Fnatic will win this series now 2-0. And, you know, John, all due respect to the side of RR, they made this closer than most people would have expected.
Oh yeah, RR definitely a bit of a more explosive game one for them. Game two was a bit more tempered, but